to an unprecedented Super Bowl three-peat. But these are not normal circumstances. And this week, the usual talk of fun and games was abruptly replaced by the serious issues of war and peace. And it is against that backdrop that a sellout crowd of over 65,000 fans makes its way into Candlestick Park today. For them, and for millions of television viewers, perhaps the next few hours will offer a much-needed diversion that may serve in some small measure to lighten the load of what has been an emotionally taxing time. As you look at Joe Montana arriving here earlier, it's a reminder that the world was much different only a week ago when Montana led the 49ers past the Washington Redskins. Or Lawrence Taylor, who helped the Giants shut down the Chicago Bears. Today, they and their teammates meet for the NFC Championship, the George S. Halas Trophy, and a ticket to Super Bowl 25. And good afternoon, everyone. I'm Greg Gumbel. Welcome to this championship edition of the NFL Today on CBS Sports. We are ever mindful of the magnitude of world events that are taking place in the Persian Gulf and elsewhere, and should the situation warrant, we will of course immediately take you to CBS News for special coverage. The next regularly scheduled news update will follow immediately after our pregame show. We also want to add that today's game will be beamed to our men and women in the Middle East by the Armed Forces Radio and Television networks. As you probably know, the war has brought thousands of Americans out into the streets to demonstrate opposition or support for what has been going on during the past week. Yesterday, here in San Francisco, an estimated 40,000 peace demonstrators rallied at the Civic Center downtown. And today, there is a minor demonstration. In fact, those that were demonstrating outside have now dissipated. Now, the high visibility of this game has raised concern about security in the face of demonstrations or even the remote threat of terrorist activity. On Friday night, the National Football League issued a statement declaring that, quote, Candlestick Park and its grounds are being secured 24 hours a day through the conclusion of activities on Sunday. And with more on that, let's go outside the stadium to Pat O'Brien. Pat?
All right, Greg, thank you very much. Let's point out right away that it's very calm here. There have been no arrests, no trouble whatsoever, and they're really expecting none. But as you can imagine, with war and terrorism and everything that goes along with it, any place that has 65,000 people sitting around for 3 hours is going to take on a different look on this football Sunday. Let us give you an idea of what it looks like here at Candlestick Park. This was the scene that's been guarded for 24 hours now, and security people from the Highway Patrol, San Francisco Police Department, FBI, private security forces have been all over this area. There you see dogs earlier this morning, precautionary again, sniffing for bombs. And when you think about what we're about to see is a football game, and you're looking at this, you know we are indeed in troubled times. Here's what one of the officers had to say about all this when we approached them earlier today. Security precautions all morning long here at Candlestick. And we talked to that officer, and here he is.
Who are you rooting for today?
The TAC unit.
There was some information that somebody might try to block the roads coming in, but again, no sense of anything going on here. It's very calm. As for the fans going in, they seem sort of mentally trapped, as we all are these days. On one hand, they want to root for a football game. On the other hand, it's a very somber mood indeed. That's it from out here. Leslie, what's the scene where you are at Gate B?
The mood of the fans as they came through the turnstile seemed to be one of subdued excitement there, of course, where the television cameras are now today. Both sides of the issue are represented here today. In protest, there have been hundreds of signs saying pause for peace. In support, this is, after all, the area of the Silicon Valley where there are many defense contractors. People are wearing T-shirts saying, God bless our troops. I'm joined now. There are also security been going through the bags. I'm joined now by a couple of fans, Jeff and Terry Beach. Jeff, you both have sweatshirts on that say Operation Desert Shield. Why have you chosen to wear these today?
Well, with all the demonstrations against the war, we decided that it's about time somebody showed some support for our troops.
Terry, do you feel at all that it's a dishonor to play this game, a dishonor to our troops in the Gulf?
Absolutely not. I believe sincerely that there are times
in our lives where we need diversion, and this is one of those times.
Both Terry and Jeff have also have radios where they said they've been listening to news updates. Let's go back to Greg.
All right, Leslie, of course the war weighs on the minds of all Americans, not just the fans, but also the players. Here's Bubba Paris as he came in.
We're ready to go. Strange to play on a day like this? Well, to a certain extent, but not really. Still a sense of necessity to play great ball. Thank you. Feel a sense of urgency to play great ball just to sort of duplicate the effort that our man overseas is putting forth. Good luck.
Bubba Paris of the 49ers. Now, Terry's been on the field here talking with players from both teams as they warmed up. Terry, your impressions of their mood right now.
Thank you, Greg. Well, I had a chance this morning to see both teams as they got ready to come to the stadium. A bit apprehensive, of course, concerned about what's happening in the Persian Gulf, concerned about our men and women in our armed forces. But once they got here to the stadium and came out and were able to run around the field, and in talking to them again, they were upbeat. All of them saying the same thing. They're excited about the contest. They have to block it away as athletes train to get on with the game at hand. One other little footnote here. The New York Giants, as you will see today, have put on a yellow sweatband, and they'll wear that on their wrist today in support of our men and women over in the Persian Gulf. Greg?
All right, Terry, while obviously all the players are affected by events overseas, for 49er center Jesse Sapullo, whose brother-in-law is in the Gulf Theater, and for Pepper Johnson, the Giants linebacker whose cousin Nigel is now on active duty, the war has hit home especially hard.
He returns, and he's going to return to a happy, 10 and loving Johnson family with our arms open, you know, just glad and tears in our eyes, glad to see him return back home.
Well, you know, realistically, football is just a game. But during the national anthem this past game, I actually cried a little bit because I was thinking of him.
Now, other players today with relatives serving in the Gulf include Steve Young, Spencer Tillman, Matt Millen, and Steve Wallace of the 49ers, as well as Johnny Cooks and Otis Anderson of the New York Giants. Unusual, unsettling, and certainly unpleasant, the backdrop for today's NFC Championship. But we have come to San Francisco first and foremost to report on the game, and when we come back, we'll do just that, turning our attention to the X's and O's that will make either the Giants or the 49ers the NFC champions and send them off to the Super Bowl. Stay tuned. We will continue live from Candlestick Park on the NFL Today. It is unbelievable. It's a great day for football here at Candlestick Park. The temperature is 60 degrees under blazing sunny skies with variable winds of between 10 and 15 miles an hour. Now the field is dry and firm, and it's a fast track today. And Terry, what does that mean? The fact that there are very light winds here, that's not usually the case at Candlestick.
It's funny, I was talking to Matt Barr, the kicker for the Giants, Greg, when they were out warming up, and he said, Terry, this is the only stadium that and he's kicked in a bunch of them, but this is the only stadium where I have kicked and field goal in all 4 quarters and had the wind in my face.
All right, Terry. Now, there is one other playoff game today, and the Los Angeles Raiders in Buffalo to take on the Bills. Forget it, folks. This one is over. In the 4th quarter, the Bills lead the Raiders 51-3. Jim Kelly has thrown 2 touchdown passes. There are 2.5 minutes to play. Jay Schrader, 5 interceptions. The Bills are on their way to the Super Bowl as the AFC champions. Now, the NFC representative will be decided right here on the field. And for the latest information, let's once again check in with Leslie and Pat. Leslie?
Greg, you know, a lot of people say the only way to beat the 49ers is to use a nickel defense, maybe even 6 defensive backs. But look for the Giants today to stay primarily with their 3-4 defense, which of course puts a lot of pressure on cornerback Mark Collins to cover Jerry Rice. Now, he said the last time he had a great game against him, Rice had only 1 reception for 13 yards. And Mark told me he's ready to bump and bother him again today. He said he's also not bothered by the slight ankle sprain that he had last week against the Bears. Otis Anderson be another key player today. Otis, of course, bears a greater responsibility since Rodney Hampton is out with a broken leg. I caught up last night with Otis Anderson at the hotel for some of his final thoughts.
It's now 4:30 in the morning in Baghdad.
I think everybody is really trying to focus on the game, but yet it's still, we can't forget what is going on.
And the Pentagon says Iraq.
I mean, everybody just loose and relaxed now. I mean, if you look at the players walking around the lobby and just out and about, you see everybody's real loose, very confident, and I think you got a different Giant team up here this time.
Who defensively is the one that you really have to pay attention most to from the 49ers?
Well, just looking at them on film, all of them.
You saw Otis watching news there of the Persian Gulf. In fact, his cousin is serving with the Marine Corps. One more note on that topic. Giant special teams coach Mike Sweatman is a lieutenant colonel in the Marine Reserves, and he told me he could be called up at any minute. For what's going on with the 49ers, let's go over to Pat O'Brien. Pat?
All right, V, thank you. Let's center in on a couple of the superstars of the 49ers and begin with Joe Montana. He may be the biggest name in football, but he is not immune to getting sick from his kids, is what happened to him. He got the flu. He missed the last 2 days of practice. He was there and watched them practice, but he did miss the practices. Now, before today's game, they were giving him an IV with some fluids, but he had no temperature, folks. He's okay. He's ready to play. You saw him this morning earlier on our broadcast. He was focused and ready to play. Ronnie Lott, who missed the last 4 games of the regular season and played well last week, has always been bothered by those bad legs, and I sort of walked to work with him this morning as he was coming in. I said, Ronnie, how are your knees? Wonderful. Ronnie, how's your attitude? Wonderful. Ronnie, how are you going to be today? Wonderful. So you got to love it if you got a wonderful Ronnie Lott. That's the situation here. Let's go back to Greg Gumbel. Greg?
All right, OB, you mentioned, of course, Joe Montana. Only 2 quarterbacks have ever won 4 Super Bowl rings, and right now I'm going to ask one of them why the other has been so successful.
Oh, I could talk about Joe. I think that there are several reasons. We obviously don't have enough time. The intangibles, the ability to rise to the occasion in big games. He always seems to play extremely well. To drive his team 90 yards, 85 yards, to win in the 4th quarter, time and time again, as he has demonstrated this season. Also very blessed that he had Bill Walsh to create a system that utilized what he does best, which is read, react, and get rid of the football. Also, talent around him, Taylor, Rice, and then, of course, a great defense, which allows any quarterback the ability to be aggressive, to take chances. The thing that I really like is the R&R factor, the read and react. I want to illustrate something here. Montana will key this week's safety, and he is going to try to hit his wide receiver right here. Now, this man is going to be covered. Notice it's inside the 10-yard line. Very aggressive defenses. Normally, there he is. Notice this. Covered, the safety's over here. Now he'll come back to this man, but watch what happens to his second receiver. His tight end is covered. Now the scramble, and now the 3rd receiver, Jerry Rice, in the back of the end zone. These are the things that I think separate Joe from all the other quarterbacks. A complete mental picture and a focus which I've never seen before.
Not the same New York Giants team that lost here December the 3rd, 7-3. Jumbo Elliott on the offensive line.
Ron Earhart, the offensive coordinator of the Giants, said today that they will use multiple formations, and every run will be directed at this man, number 76, the left tackle, Jumbo Elliott. Also, look for the Giants to come out. He said we'll play aggressive offensively, just like in the Bear game. We'll play action. We'll try to freeze Ronnie Lott, the free safety, and go to the post early in the game.
Now, the man that you're talking about throwing the football, Jeff Hostetler, 5-0, starting for the New York Giants. Phil Simms was the starter here back in December.
Second playoff game for him. The game he had last week against the Bears boosted his confidence beyond any questions you had about him. But the thing I like about him is this. He reads, now he reacts to the pressure, and he can run with the football. The 49ers will play primarily man-to-man coverage. The only person on the offense that will not have a man covering him is the quarterback. Hostetler could beat the 49ers today running.
All right, meanwhile, the New York Giants begin to exit their locker room to make their way out onto the field here at Candlestick Park. And when we return, we'll have the player introductions for today's NFC Championship game. And you look down at Treasure Island, one of 8 major naval stations in the Bay Area that have sent a total of 6 ships and over 5,000 men and women to the Gulf region. More from San Francisco in a moment. Back on the NFL today, the 49ers on the field, awaiting their turn for introductions. Meanwhile, it's all over at Rich Stadium in Buffalo, where the Bills have moved on to the Super Bowl with a very convincing 51-3 victory over the Los Angeles Raiders. And as we approach the NFC Championship game, to decide who Buffalo will meet in Tampa next Sunday between the Giants and the 49ers. Time to meet the 49ers starting lineups. For that, let's go to public address announcer Hal Ramey.
Starting at strong safety from Louisiana State, number 47, Greg Jackson. Starting at free safety from East Kentucky, number 29, Myron Guyton.
As our pregame ceremonies continue here at Candlestick Park in San Francisco, let's go now to public address announcer Bob Sarlett.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, to honor America, and especially the brave men and women serving our nation in the Persian Gulf and throughout the world, please join the 6th United States Army Band in the singing of our national anthem.
It's the NFC Championship, the Giants and the 49ers. We will join Pat Summerall and John Madden as our CBS Sports coverage continues. But first, we now have a special report from CBS News. Let's go to Dan Rather in New York.
Thanks.
It is also a game of brute force. History awaits the San Francisco 49ers. A win today sends them to Tampa to attempt what no team has done before. But they have one giant hurdle left, and New York is thirsty for another trip to the big dance themselves. No team has ever won 3 straight Super Bowls, and the Niners have their eyes set on that, and a record-setting 5th trophy as well. NFC Championship, the Giants 49ers, just about set to kick it off. Pat Summerall here with John Madden. A bright, brilliant, sunshiny day in California. 49ers will receive We'll see who has the right to make that trip to Tampa to play Buffalo next week. Matt Barr will kick off for the Giants. Dexter Carter and Spencer Tillman back deep for the 49ers, looking into the sunshine as you look at one of the most dangerous men in this game of pro football, Jerry Rice, getting ready.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they try and get the ball to Rice right off the bat on the first play deep.
They said they were going to open it up and open it early. It's going to be Spencer Tillman. Barr's kickoff sail to the 15. He's cut down by David Whitmore. Joe Montana out 2 days, missed 2 days of practice. Will open at quarterback. That's in front of him. That offensive line, Harris, McIntyre, Sapolo, Barton, and Wallace. With Brent Jones, the tight end, Roger Craig and Rathman, the two runners. Rice and Taylor open as the wide receivers, but Brent Jones splits wide to the left, and Rice and Taylor are together on the right. Craig in motion, and Montana will air it out early. That looked like he missed 2 days of practice with the flu. Weak. The defense that Montana looks at will be Dorsey, Howard, and Marshall up front. Banks, Reasons, Pepper Johnson, and Lawrence Taylor, a fine group of linebackers. In the secondary, Collins, Walls, Guyton, and Jackson. 2nd and 10, 49ers from their own 26. Sherrard enters the game as a wide receiver to the left. Montana gets the ball out to Rathman. Pepper Johnson and Mark Collins converge, a gain of 7, but he paid the price.
You know, last time they played, the 49ers thought that they were too conservative, and Mike Holmgren said what he did is if Montana was throwing in rhythm and there wasn't anyone there right now, he had him just throw the ball away. Today he said they're going to open it up, spread it out, and he just told Joe, even though he hasn't practiced in the last 2 days, just do what you do best.
3rd and 3, and Harry Sidney is the lone setback, and now there are no setbacks as he goes in motion. Outside, John Taylor. Beg your pardon, Mike Sherrard. First down, 49ers, stopped by Wall.
You know, I think if there's one big difference for the 49ers from that game they played the first time, it's having this guy back, Mike Sherrard. Because what you want to do is you want to stop Jerry Rice, you want to double him, you want to double John Taylor, and now they have another guy in there that if you do those things, then Mike Sherrard can still get you.
You see what an addition he is when he's healthy and available. Montana back to throw it. They've yet to run a play. Up the middle as Montana does what he does so well. To Brent Jones.
That is amazing. What the Giants are trying to do is throw his rhythm off. Now watch it. He's going to come out here and he's going to look to one side. He's coming back 1, 2, 3. Look at the right. Look, he pumps. There's nothing there. He has nothing there. So he pumps again. Now he comes back. He had 3 receivers on the right side, and he came back to his 4th receiver that time, who was Brent Jones.
He might be, John, the only quarterback who can do that.
I don't think anybody. There's no one playing now that can do it.
Roger Craig is the lone setback in the first running play for the 49ers. Craig inside the Giant 45, a pickup of 5, tripped up by Mark Collins.
You know, one thing, the 49ers have kind of abandoned the run, but they did say one thing. If they're going to run, they're going to try and get outside like this. Instead of running inside, they don't think they can run inside. But if they can run at all, they're going to try to run at the corners.
That was textbook right there, as Craig saw when he was going to get hit and covered up the ball. Montana to throw and quickly. That's to John Taylor. 14-yard pickup if the pass is complete. Perry Williams with the hit on Taylor.
Yeah, that's that's the amazing thing about these 49ers. They have so many guys that can catch the ball. Watch, that's just a slant. There's no one that throws that better, even though that was a little behind him, than Joe Montana. And there's not a heck of a lot of guys that catch it better than Mike Sherrard.
That ball might have been loose, John, on the way down.
I think John Taylor fumbled that one.
Whoa! The 49ers wisely trying to run a play.
Yeah, they were trying to get up there. They're going to review that one because to have possession, John Taylor has to catch the ball and come down with both feet on the ground and control of the ball.
And this ball is loose on the way down.
Yeah, you'll see. See, that second foot hasn't gotten down, and that ball came out.
They won't have to review that one too long. They haven't moved the yard line markers yet from the previous play. Jack Rader is the replay official up in the booth.
They all look nervous, though, don't they?
I beg your pardon. It's Tom Kelleher. Jack Rader.
There it is. You see, he's
looking
up,
on.
And now down, and the ball is already out.
And I think the 49ers were very much aware of that. They tried to get off another play, and after that, if they're successful, it can't be reviewed.
You know, the only other thing is the official could have blown the football before that ball came out.
That's a possibility. Does he look guilty?
No, I think John Taylor looks very confident and believes that not only did he catch that pass, but that he's going to catch a lot more of them today.
Referee Jerry Markbright has just gotten the review.
For the review, the play stands. The runner was down by contact on the field.
The play stands, according to Markbright. And now another conference with the umpire.
Well, you know, the thing that Joe Montana has done, he's thrown the 4 different receivers on this drive.
No replay was allowed on this play because the whistle sounded when the runner was down by contact.
Aha, you were right.
That's what I thought. That was the other thing. See, that's the out that they have there where it doesn't even go to replay. If the official said he saw it, see, when his first foot or knee came down, he blew the whistle. So that puts all replay off.
And it's 1st and 10. Craig hit by Taylor and Reasons. He got 1 yard.
I'll tell you, the other guy that was up there was the weak safety, Myron Guyton. The one thing about these Giants and this Giant defense, they all tackle well. I mean, and that's where Myron Guyton at the weak safety and Greg Jackson at the strong safety, 47 and 29, have really given them that this year.
A lot of tough guys on that defensive unit. They tackle well and they all get there. They pursue well. Montana has to unload quickly and does. To Jerry Rice in their first meeting, the one won by the 49ers. That's a loss of a yard. Rice only caught 1 pass.
And it was against Mark Collins, and Mark Collins is a very confident guy. He believes the way you play Jerry Rice is you play against him physical. You make everything physical. Watch this hit here. If you're going to catch it, okay, but you're not going to make any yards. I tell you, Mark Collins is a very good corner, a very good cover guy, but he's a very strong player, a very physical corner.
He plays with a great deal of confidence. Wilson and Rice. To the right. Montana just has to throw it away. As the Giants had the blitz coming, Reasons and Taylor right in his face.
Those are the 2 things the Giants figure. You have to bump the receivers. Then the other thing is you have to get pressure, but pressure right up the middle. You see it right here, right up the middle, that makes him stop. Not be able to step up, not be able to run and buy some time, but makes him stop and step backwards and throw.
Brings up a 4th down situation. The 49ers send in Kofer and Helton to hold from 47 yards out. That's just about his limit. Well, it doesn't look like it from that. That was plenty long enough, plenty high enough, and the 49ers get 3 on their first drive. They lead. 3-0, the 49ers. And And John, in that drive, pretty typical of what we expected. 7 passes, 2 runs, and the field goal.
And I think that's exactly what we're going to see all day, that combination. The Giants had a little of what they had to do right there at the end. They have to bump the receivers and get pressure up the middle on Joe Montana. If you don't, he could become a surgeon on you.
Meggett and Dewerson back to field Kofer's kickoff. Now they go into a tandem. They want Meggett to handle it if they can. But they don't want to tell Kofer where he's going to be.
And I think they're just going to stand like that and let Meggett run to the ball. And then, of course, Dewerson becomes the blocker.
Dewerson feels it and stays in the end zone. Jeff Hostetler, his second playoff game, will open at quarterback for the Giants. Up front, Jumbo Elliott, Roberts, Oates, Moore, Riesenberg, and Bavaro, a man the 49ers fear. The runners, Otis Anderson and Maurice Carthon. The wide receivers, Ingram and Baker. 1st and 10 from the 20 for the Jeff Hostetler-led Giants. Phil Simms, of course, out with that ankle foot injury. And Hostetler coming off an outstanding game last week against the Bears. Ingram goes in motion. Hostetler to work on 1st down. Flag on the play. The pass for Carthon incomplete. Holding. And not a very auspicious start for the Giants on their first possession.
Holding, number 60, offense.
Holding call against Eric Moore. And here is the 49er defense. Not given a lot of credit, but excellent. Those 3 very steady and very strong. Hope, Carter, and Fagan. The linebackers Haley and Millen, DeLong and Romanowski. In the secondary, Pollard and Griffin. Dave Meggett, the lone setback, and he gets the carry. And Meggett struggles out for a gain of about 6 or 7. Here's Holt, made the stop. 2 49er safety men. Waymer and Lott open back there.
Well, you know, when Rodney Hampton broke his leg last week, that brought David Meggett into another dimension in this offense. Instead of just being a kick returner and 3rd down runner, he is also going to be used as a 1st and 2nd down runner.
Meggett came up and said something to Hostetler. 3 tight ends on the right side for the Giants. Hostetler gives to Meggett. Tries to get to his left, stopped by Fagan for no gain. Romanowski with the assist.
You know, that's the idea. You see what happens is up here, you have the 3 tight ends on this side. But what the Giants are going to do is they're going to run to this side of Jumbo Elliott and try and attack Fagan here. Now, that's going to be a big job. Wherever they put their formation, they still want to run to Jumbo Elliott's side. But one of the best run defenders is that guy right there, number 75.
3rd and 13. Oates can't hear, so Hostetler gets up under center after beginning this play in the shotgun formation. Hostetler, and he can run. Pass is complete to Mark Ingram, and a pickup of 20 yards and a Giant 1st down. That's the added dimension of a Hostetler.
That's the thing that Jeff Hostetler has to give him, because if you see right now, the receivers aren't open. In fact, they aren't even running much of a pattern, but now they see Hostetler moving, and then all Ingram does is just kind of come under control, show him his numbers, and Jeff Hostetler hits him. That was not a receiver reception. That was a quarterback buying time reception.
1st and 10, Anderson in the backfield now as the lone setback. And O.J. The fake by Hostetler to Anderson, caught by Bavaro. A gain of 7.
Yeah, the Giants talked about doing the same thing that they did last week, and that is throwing on first down. Now, this is a bootleg. You see, Anderson is going to start to his left. See Hostetler fake there? Now, the runners go to the left. Now, Hostetler fakes it and brings the ball out to the right. So it looks like it's a run, but no, it's a pass. He gets out here, breaks containment, and finds his tight end.
Second down and 3. Giants up to their own 44. This is Meggett. And Meggett. Strong run by David. Picked up 5 yards, stopped by Darrell Pollard.
Hey, I think David Meggett is going to earn his check today, Pat, because as we said, he's not only the kick returner, the special teams guy. We know that he's their #1 third down receiver, and now they're using him a lot on first and second down running, trying to get the ball outside so the 49ers just can't pack everything inside.
Meggett split wide to the left this time. Here's Hostetler back to throw it. Looks right, throws left. Intended for Ingram. He is hammered by Ronnie Lott. Just a reminder that I'm still here.
He's the guy that lifts this whole team. That Ronnie Lott is the guy that brings it up with hits like this in games like this. You're not going to run a post in there and not get this at the end of it when number 42 is sitting there. Now, if you do something to get him out of there, you have a chance. But I'll guarantee you, when you throw it in there and you don't run him out of there, he is going to do that, and he's going to lift the whole 49er defense.
Second and 10. Fagan jumped on the right side. If he was pulled, we'll wait and see for Jerry Mark Bright.
Encroachment foul, number 75.
Oh, he just encroached.
5-yard penalty, second down.
I think he was going to come on a stunt. You know, he was lined up on Jumbo Elliott, but he was going to stunt to the inside, Kevin Fagan was, and he just got a little jump on it. You'll see him, he's up here on the right there, and then what happens, he's going to take the inside. So he knows that he has to hit that inside gap. You see him? So he's trying to hit that gap between the guard and the tackle.
Hoping to occupy 2 men and free a linebacker who was coming behind him.
That's what he was trying to do, and he just jumped too soon.
Here's Hostetler back to throw it. Gets it upfield quickly to Stephen Baker. Stopped by Waymer, but that should be enough for a Giant first down, a gain of 9.
You see Stephen Baker jump up like that. When you only weigh 155 pounds and you're playing in the National League, National Football League, and you get knocked out, you have to jump up quickly and like, hey, you can't hurt me. You know, that type of thing. Stephen Baker's been doing that all his life.
First and 10. Baker wide left this time, along with another. This is Maurice Carthon, who carried the ball more last week against the Bears than he has all year. The Giant bench and defensive instructions.
Well, Bill Belichick is the defensive coordinator of the Giants, and one thing you learn as a defensive coach, you learn to draw upside down. And then all your guys watching, you draw all the plays and the formations that they do. This guy is a very good coach. And they're talking about him as a possible head coach in the National Football League this year. He's only 38 years old.
Very intense. You draw upside down like that if you sell insurance or if you're a defensive coach. Stetler's pass is behind Bavaro and knocked down by Romanowski. Keith DeLong on the blitz put the pressure on Hostetler.
Yeah, you'll see the pressure. Keith DeLong comes from the backside. You see, it's going to be from Hostetler's back. There comes Carter up the front, DeLong on the back. And he had to throw the ball at that time. But I'm impressed with Hostetler. I was impressed with last week how cool he was. And you say, well, that's at home. But this week, he looks like he's bringing that same coolness here.
3rd and 8. Well, they're very aware of his running ability. Should be incomplete. Flag on the play. Ingram jumping up and down after the ball went by, and finally the yellow flag came flying.
That may be one that Ingram talked him into.
Pass interference, number 26, defense, automatic first down.
Oh, if you're going to work on someone in the 49ers, the guy they work on is Darryl Pollard, number 26. I don't know from that if he was there a little early or not, but let's watch 26 right there. Now that, to me, doesn't look like pass interference. You have to give a guy a chance to defend, and if that's all he did, there's nothing wrong with that.
However, it's a first down, Giants at the 49er 30. That's Anderson straight ahead. A gain of 8, stopped by Ronnie Lott. Good hold over the right side.
You know, one thing that the Giants all talked about yesterday, Pat, and the day before, is that last time they played, they had success between the 20s. And they're coming up to the 20-yard line now, and that's where they didn't have any success. They had opportunities last time to get the ball in, and they just couldn't get it in. So they've been spending all their time on this red zone area.
And that's what they all emphasized yesterday when we talked with them. Once we get in the red zone, we've got to put some points on the board. And here's Anderson inside the 11. Stopped finally by Millen. The 11th play of this drive on an 11-yard gain.
Okay, watch the left side of the line. Here's where they get the blocks. They want to get a big block off of Jumbo Elliott. Now watch Jumbo Elliott start off. See, he takes off, Roberts takes off. They just fire out. They get that soft spot right there, and that gives Anderson the room. That was a big hole, because that was the other thing they decided when they get inside the 20, they wanted to do 3 things. 1, run straight at him. 2, bootleg with a quarterback. Or 3, draw with the quarterback.
Maggott is the lone setback. Maurice Carthon in motion. Option pass coming from Maggott. The Carthon touchdown, and he dropped it. Incomplete. Matt Millen was the attempted defender. He had it and dropped it. It was there.
Oh, what a matchup. That's the thing that you plan for, is to get Matt Millen having to cover a guy in the end zone. Matt Millen is a run guy. That looked like a perfect pass. This is a run pass. You flip it out to Maggott. He's going to come out there. Watch Carthon. He is completely free, and old Millen just turns his back, and I don't think he got a hand in there or anything. It looked like Carthon just dropped that ball.
Slid right through.
Woo.
Second down. Giants at the 11. Hostetler over Bavaro's head. Incomplete.
I think this is a thing that the Giants need a play here, because that's all they talked about, is that haunted them last time, that red zone, the 49ers defense being so good in there. Here's their drive so far. They've been able to do that before, but can they do this?
The 20 and in. That red zone they keep talking about. 3rd and 10. They can make a first without scoring. Out of bounds, incomplete. Ingram, the intended receiver. Pollard was the 49er cover man.
That was the other thing. They felt that they couldn't run slants, that they had to run fades. You see up on top 82, Ingram, he's running what they call a fade. Now that ball should be thrown towards that cone more. Now what Ingram's arguing is that he was pushed out of bounds, that he caught the ball, and if he weren't pushed, he would have been inbounds.
Matt Barr from 28 yards away with Hostetler holding. Some doubt during the week whether Barr would be able to make it. His field goal is good, and this game is tied at 3 with 2:41 left to play in the first quarter at Candlestick. The NFC Championship game between the Giants and the 49ers tied at 3. Kofer with a 47-yard field goal as the 49ers hit first. And then the Giants on 28-yard field goal by Barr tie the score at 3-3. 2:41 left to play in the first quarter. Pat Summerall with John Madden. The winner goes to Tampa. The Super Bowl against Buffalo. 3-3 at Candlestick. Barr to kick it off. Dexter Carter at the 5. Good return outside the 30. Finally stopped by Bobby Abrams. A return of 27 yards by Carter. The NFC Championship game tied at 3 between the Giants and the 49ers. 49ers have the ball at their own 33-yard line, 1st and 10. Montana again to throw, or try to. Going to be a holding call against the 49ers. The pass is finally incomplete.
That's the whole thing that the Giants are doing now, and there is an example when you talk about rhythm and throwing them out of rhythm. That is a defense throwing Montana out of rhythm.
Holding number 61, offense. 10 yards, 1st down.
Polo holding.
Just watch what happens here and why he's knocked out of rhythm. You see now, right now, if we stop it, now he's ready to throw, but he doesn't have his guys. See, here's where he's trying to throw, and the Giants have good coverage there. So he can't throw there. So now if we just let it go, you see that took him out of that rhythm. Then he went to the 2nd and then the 3rd.
Rathman, the lone setback in Montana again, gets the ball out to Rathman, and he's taken down quickly by Reason.
Yeah, if you look at the end of the last play, watch that. That ball was almost intercepted by Everson Walls. It went right through him. But how about that tackle by Jerry Rice?
Jerry Rice, yeah.
We know that he can run and catch and do all that, but that was a pretty good tackle.
Loss of 4 on that pass completion. 2nd and 24. Complete to Sherrard, but again a very short gain. Greg Jackson and the rest of the Giants secondary right there. Jim Hostetler stays loose on the sideline. I don't know who took those pictures, but he didn't.
He did, and you wonder how, with all that armor on his hands and all that stuff in his hands, he can flip them. That takes dexterity to be able to have those big hands and those big hands. It's a good thing he doesn't have to take the pictures with those hands.
3rd and 21. Montana under pressure again, comes out of there, slides down, and the 49ers will have to punt. Everett Johnson made sure he stayed down.
The Giants, I was just saying, the Giants have done an excellent job. They've done an excellent job of throwing Montana out of rhythm on this series. That they didn't let him throw the ball. They didn't have anyone open. You see Steve Wallace here blocking against Lawrence Taylor. He does a good job, but the other guys didn't give Montana any lanes to throw in.
Maggott back deep. Barry Helton, who was punting extremely well in the pregame warm-up, back to punt for the 49ers. That'll stay up there a long time. Maggott will handle it, however. He does. The Giants will take over at their own 44. Mike Wilson made the stop. That's the end of the 1st quarter with the score, the 49ers 3, the Giants 3.
Yeah, we always watch this number 21, Renee Thompson. He's one of the best cover guys on special teams, but watch what the job that he and Everson Walls, number 28, do, and Spencer Tillman. Tillman's one of the guys who can go down. He's one of the guys that's a marked man on the punt coverage. And he's trying to get downfield.
That's 2 knockdowns. 1st and 10 Giants at their own 44. Ingram, the man in motion. Penalty marker down. I think they took too much time. Handoff was to Anderson.
Well, I'll tell you, did Jumbo Elliott tie into someone over there on that left side there?
False start, number 78, offense,
False
5
start.
yards, first down.
78 is Pierce Holt. I'll tell you, up on that.
76.
But I'll tell you, watch this. Watch when Elliott ties in here. Even though this play doesn't go anywhere and it doesn't count or anything, that's the way you drive block. Watch him fire out. See how low he is? And watch him fire out into him and get Fagan going backward. I mean, that is 2 men right there just blocking head to head.
1st and 15. Remember, the Giants started their last drive with a penalty. Here's Hostetler. Deep for Ingram. And just slightly overthrown. Earlier today in Buffalo, no contest. 51-3. The Bills will go to Tampa, and one of these two will be the opponent.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that was a shocker. The Bills looked almost perfect, and our congratulations to them. And going to the Super Bowl,
Boy.
and of course the team that wins here gets to go down there and play. If the Giants win, they're leaving tonight right after the game to go to Tampa.
Giants win, of course, it's all New York. Super Bowl. 49ers win, it's East Coast, West Coast. Family flags fly everywhere.
False start.
False start again.
Number 60.
You know, that's one of the things they were talking to us about yesterday, that Hostetler's count, his cadence is difficult to get used
Well, you
to.
see what happens here? I think Ronnie Lott is up here faking a blitz, and I think that will take an offensive lineman more and make him a little nervous. You see him move there, and he moved when Lott got up to fake, and then Lott moved out. Eric Moore moved.
2nd and 20. Hostetler gives to Meggett. Not much. Picked up perhaps 4, stopped by Kevin Fagan and Waymer.
Well, the 49ers are keyed in on that play. They figure that when Meggett's in there, they're either going to throw to him or he's running a draw. So when they're in there, they are keying draw. The Giants have 2 or 3 different kinds of draws. That one is what they call a lag draw.
49ers now go with their pass rushing unit, which means Larry Roberts will now be one of the rushers, and Haley comes to the left. Wide on the outside. Stacy Robinson in the game for the Giants. Hostetler gets to Meggett. Meggett hammers close to a first down. Not quite enough, I don't think.
That is going to be interesting. If it is a first down, it's going to be a great effort by Dave Meggett. If it's not a first down, what does Coach Bill Parcells do? See, he's hitting his helmet there. This is what they call scat. So he hits his helmet which way he's going to look to go. He didn't make the first down on it, though. You see, he's going to go through to that side, then just find him anywhere he wants to go. Good tackle right there, stop them, and they have to punt. No going for it on 4th down today.
Landetta back deep to punt it. John Taylor back for the 49ers. Taylor, very dangerous. Cut down by Lewis Tillman. 37-yard punt by Landetta. Taylor brought it back 9 yards. 13-11 left in the first half. Score is 3-3.
Yeah, that was interesting with that 4th and 1 that Bill Parcells didn't even think about going for it today. And last week, it was such a big part of the game plan in beating the Bears.
So the 49ers will take over at their own 19.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football Conference Championship game is sponsored by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? UPS now offering 10:30 a.m. guaranteed overnight air delivery. And by Dr. Pepper and Dr. Pepper bottlers, who join all Americans saluting our brave men and women in the Middle East.
Back, you look at Candlestick, but right now let's go back to New York with CBS News and Dan Rather. All right, Dan, back at Candlestick Park. It's 3-3. You haven't missed a play as yet. And just a reminder that as the news develops, we'll be switching back to CBS News from time to time if there are developments. On first down, it's Rathman over the left side. A pickup of 5 yards. Eric Howard tripped him up.
You know, the one thing, remember last time, Pat, what the Giants did on defense is they used 5 defensive backs or nickel the whole time. This time, they're playing Carl Banks here. This is where they played Jackson last time. So now they're playing their regular 3 linemen, and then they're playing Gary Reasons because he's a better pass defender. But they're not playing nickel on regular down. They're playing a lot like they did, but with Carl Banks.
That was second down. Pepper Johnson stopped Rathman after a gain of 12 and a 49er first down.
That's the thing with, you know, we're talking to Bill Belichick last night, and he says that you have to take away Rice, you have to take away Taylor, and if Montana's going to beat you, then he's going to beat us with guys like Rathman catching.
Rathman, Jones, he said.
He doesn't feel that Rathman and Jones catching the ball can beat you. He feels that guys like Rice and Taylor are the ones that you have to take out of the game.
On first down, Montana. To Jerry Rice, who almost broke it. Myron Guyton made the stop.
You see that little move that Rice made after he catch it? Now watch, Collins is up there. He doesn't bump him. Now he backs off because it's a different coverage. But watch, Rice not only runs patterns, catches the ball, and gets open. Watch this little move right here. That little pivot that he makes that buys him another 5 yards.
They say that's one of the keys to his success as a runner. He faces the defender so quickly, or locates him so quickly.
The other part of it is something like Joe Montana hitting his receivers on the run.
Montana stumbled, coming backwards, fires, pass is complete, but there is a penalty marker on the play. Now they say incomplete.
They went on both of these teams. We talk about Ronnie Lott. When you go inside on Ronnie Lott, but when you go inside with Myron Guyton in there, even though, you know, he's only played a couple years, I'll tell you, you get the same type of thing in there.
Penalty on the play. There's Guyton.
Illegal motion foul, number 80, offense. Penalty is declined, second down.
Illegal motion against Rice. The Giants decline the penalty. Three tie. 2nd and 10. San Francisco at their own 47. That's Jones, the motion man. Montana fakes. And hits Jones, a gain of 7. Myron Guyton.
You know, Montana's just a little off today. It's usually, I mean, even though he's 10 for 13, you know, we're talking about a guy here who could be the best quarterback that ever played, but it's just a little thing where instead of hitting Jones on the run, it was just a little behind him. You know, instead of hitting Taylor out there where he could catch it on the run, it's just a little behind him. And it's just, you know, we're only talking about fractions here, but those fractions can make a difference.
In his case, it certainly can. Flag on the play. Everything seemed out of sync.
The guy that looked like he was out of sync is number 70, Leonard Marshall there. He and Big Bubba Paris kind of ballooned together.
That's a good description.
False start, number 62, offense. 5-yard penalty, third down.
Oh, it's Guy McIntyre that causes the thing. You see, he does that because he sees Taylor coming, so he jumps, and then boom, he comes and runs into him. So the whole thing is called by 62. You see, there goes Taylor. He jumps. Oh, I think Taylor was in that neutral zone. This Guy McIntyre really held it pretty good. I think Guy McIntyre was okay. I think that should have been against the Giants.
3rd and 8. Montana back to throw it, going deep. Incomplete. Intended for Rice. Collins right with it.
There is one confident cornerback. He loves to play against Jerry Rice, and he's tough on Jerry Rice. You see, he likes to play him physical. He feels that he can get up there, that he can bump him around, and then that if he does get by him, that he has enough speed to run with him.
When you have confidence and ability, you have the makings of a pretty good corner, don't you?
And that's what Mark Collins has. Those are his 2 biggest ingredients.
Helton back to punt. Meggett back deep for the Giants. They were out working on this yesterday, as Meggett will be looking right into the sun. High kick. Handled by Meggett. Up to the 20. Stopped by Romanowski. 41-yard punt, 10-yard return. It's 3-3 at Candlestick. The NFC Championship game, and looking down from overhead, the Fuji USA blimp. Aerial shots of the day. And the Bay Area, you've been seeing of the work of cameraman Bob Michelson. Pat Summerall here with John Madden at Candlestick. 3-3 tie. Giants ball at their own 20. Jeff Hostetler digs over the left side to O.J. Anderson. Picked up perhaps 3, stopped by Pierce Holt and Michael Carter.
Tell you, the Giant, you see the defense over there talking. They're sweating a little more than they have been the last few weeks. You know, they've been finishing up back in the East Coast where they have snow and blizzards and stuff like that. And they have to come out here in this weather, and I'll tell you, the conditioning will get to them a little in that second half.
It sure will. 2nd and 7. Carthon now, the 2 runners behind Hostetler. And this is Meggett. And Meggett knocked out of bounds at about the 27 after he broke 1 tackle. Matt Millen knocked him out.
Well, you know, they tried to run inside, and they couldn't get Carter inside, so now they're going outside, and they're going to have trouble right here getting Charles Haley. Charles Haley, one of the best pass rushers in the league, but he's also a good player against the run. You see how he took on Mark Bavaro, held him, and then boom, he came off the block right down the line.
Meggett got 4. It's 3rd and 3. Giants at their own 27. They need to get out past the 30 for the first down.
Let's see if Meggett makes that signal again, and they run what they call scat and just throw it to Meggett for the first down.
Hostetler back to throw. Don't forget about his running ability, and he just does get outside the 30.
You know, the funny thing about that play on scat, Meggett can find any hole he wants to and run through it. Now watch him here. Meggett finds the hole. Meggett is right there. He finds a hole. Now watch him right there. Hostetler just follows Meggett right there in the hole. Here's Meggett. Here's Hostetler. He said if it's a hole for Meggett, maybe I can take that same hole and make a first down if Meggett will make a block.
And he did. He's only 5'7", 180, but that is a powerful package. Meggett. Now it's Anderson behind Hostetler. Anderson left side again. Anderson stopped after he perhaps got a yard. Matt Millen again stopped him.
Michael Carter was stunning to that side. I mean, it's tough to run. Carter is so big and so strong that it's tough. And he's here, and if he's going here, he's tough. But if he's stunning to this side and you're trying to run to that side, that is darn near impossible. Because watch him, see him shift there a little. Now he stunts to that side and hits that gap. There is no way that you are going to run there.
You notice how far off the ball he was that time. That's because of what you pointed out.
It gives you a lot of different looks.
Yep. Here's Hostetler back to throw. Pass complete up the middle to Mark Ingram. A gain of 9. Romanowski made the stop.
See, Bart Oates was taking his helmet off there trying to get it straightened out. There's Phil Simms, of course. He still has a cast. We saw him yesterday at the hotel. He was going into a workout room. I don't know if he can ride a bike or whatever, but You can see that right leg has a cast on it.
That's sort of a mystery ailment. Seems to be more serious than they originally thought. Anderson trying for the first down. Maybe, maybe not.
So much of the story last week when the Giants beat the Bears was that 4th down. Again, what does Bill Parcells do here if it is 4th down? I think in this game, in this situation, if he doesn't get the first down, I think he punts it here.
I think he does too. I think he has to.
Well, he did last time, and he had better field position.
Well, have they measured yet?
No, they're bringing the sticks out right now to measure. Boy, this is a tough one. This is if you get it, then you're happy. But if you don't get it, it's hard to leave it there. They get it, so it's all academic anyway as far as decision making.
Sorry, Bill. We don't want to put the pressure on you.
That'll let the air out of a coach.
Still 3-3. 6:01 left in the first half. Now less than 6 minutes. Harris Barton, a very capable offensive lineman. That's Mike Pope talking with some of his pupils.
You notice that the coaches don't even watch. A defensive coach doesn't watch the offense. The offensive coach doesn't even watch the defense.
Hostetler. He has Bavaro into 49er territory. Or you ask Ronnie Lott what you have to do to stop the Giants, and the first thing out of his mouth is we got to stop that guy.
I'll tell you, and he has a lot of respect for Bavaro. And watch what Bavaro does right at the end here. He's going to come right in the middle of the screen. How he just kind of turns his body there. He had it, then he just turned to the outside, and that was a perfect pass by Hostetler.
A gain of 13.
Bavaro was a very physical player who has turned into an intelligent player.
That's Anderson to about the 45. Maybe he got 2 yards.
It's tough to run in the middle of that defense. You see they got Bird in there. Matt Millen is straight up on the line. You see that time the guard, Millen's going to hit that guard, so they have a whole red front right up there when Anderson gets to the line of scrimmage. I mean, one thing about Matt Millen, he may not be able to cover the passes or the wide things or do a lot of things, but one thing he can do is play the run right at him.
The owner of the 49ers, Eddie DiBartolo. What a job he's done since he took over. Flag on the play. The pass complete to Baker, but a penalty marker down. 6-yard gain.
You know, we are seeing very good defensive football here. We're seeing crisp football. We're seeing hard hitting, good tackling. That's a penalty there against the 49ers, but this isn't one of those things that is just conservative offense. This is defense making the offensive look conservative.
Well, these are two very good defensive units. George Seifert 2-0 against the Giants. You think about the Giants, you think almost immediately of defense. But the 49ers defensive unit is certainly among the elite.
Jerry Markra explaining.
Illegal hands to the face. Number 96, defense. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down. Penalized from the line of scrimmage.
96 is Dennis Brown. You'll see him right there where he hits up to the face mask and then just drives his guy to the ground. I don't know, in the old days, that was pretty good football.
That'd be fine.
When you could take a guy and give him a ride like that. He just took Eric Moore, and he did get a piece of his face mask, but Dennis Brown just took Eric Moore and put him right on his back.
1st and 10. Giants. Pitches back to Megan. And Megan cuts it up near the 30. A gain of 8 before he's tripped up by Keith DeLong.
One thing we were talking to Bill Parcells yesterday, he said that he wants to hit Megan at the edges, which means outside. He wants to run Anderson straight at him on no delays, and then hit the edges of the offense, hit the edges with Megan.
2nd and 1 at the 31 of the 49ers with 3 minutes left to play in the first half. Anderson and Carthon behind Hostetler. Maurice Carthon barrels down to about the 26, first down. Matt Millen made the stop.
I'll tell you, that giant lion is firing out now. Watch him here. The ball is snapped. Boom. They just all get on there, guys. Just start that pile going backward. Very good by Jumbo Elliott, Jim Roberts, and Bart Oates. Yeah, I think Elliott, Jumbo Elliott had a broken leg there earlier in the year and didn't even know it, he said, until he was practicing, and said some of the guys said they could hear his legs popping in the huddle. Well, I better get a picture of it. It was broken.
Yeah, the figure something was wrong. That throw is to Bavaro, who leans for a gain of 2, stopped by DeLong. Right now for a special report from CBS News, here is Dan Rather in New York. At Candlestick Park, it's still 3-3 with 2 minutes left in the first half. We missed one play, which was a loss of 2 on a run by Anderson. Again, they tried the left side unsuccessfully. It brings up 3rd and 9, and a limping Keith DeLong heads for the sideline.
And again, it's not really the red zone. We call the red zone that 20-yard line in. This ball's just inside the 25, but to me, it's that same area. When you get this close, you're still talking about the red zone, and this is the area that has really haunted the Giants in their games against the 49ers. You can see the last game against the 49ers, they were in there twice, and they couldn't get a score.
Timeout.
This time so far, they've been in there, and they had to get a field goal.
Timeout, Giants. Pat Summerall, John Madden at Candlestick Park, the NFC Championship game. Giants 3, the 49ers 3. The timeout situation, the Giants just took 1. So they have 2 left. It is a 3rd and 9 situation. That's Keith DeLong heading into the 49er locker room, and the word on him is that he has a twisted ankle. Hostetler up under the center, Bart Oates. And back to throw it. Incomplete. Darryl Pollard back there with him.
That's the guy they wanted to work on. They call this a fade, just straight up. See, what happens is Baker doesn't leave himself enough room to the outside, so Hostetler has no place to throw that. Good coverage by Pollard, because if he throws it over Pollard, then it has to go out of bounds. You see, Baker should have left himself a little more room to the sideline.
From 42 yards away. Far enough and good. And so the Giants take the lead 6-3 with a minute left first half. Then it's Murder, She Wrote, followed by Lonesome Dove Part 1. Giants kick off. Dexter Carter knocked out of bounds by Mark Collins. 27-yard return. 49ers take over. 55 seconds left to play in the first half. A little instructions. Jim Burt, of course, is number 64. Fred Smerlis. The scoring drive so far. San Francisco 10 plays. They got a field goal. Giants 15 plays. They got a field goal. And then the Giants again with a long time consuming drive and a field goal. They lead 6-3.
You could look at that and say, well, what does that mean? That the offenses haven't been able to do anything. I look at it that's great defense. You always say, what's the most important thing about a defense? Not letting the other team score points. Montana
back to throw it. And goes to Rice. They have all 3 of their timeouts left. Reasons made the stop on Rice after a gain of 19 yards.
And no one likes to be on the other side when Joe Montana is in a 2-minute situation, the end of a half or end of a game.
And Montana is going to take off with it. Slides at the 40. Pickup of 7. And now the 49ers use a timeout with 26 seconds left. First half. 26 seconds remaining. The 49ers with the ball. They have 2 timeouts left, 2nd and 4. Montana is the 49ers leading rusher, 2 carries for 9 yards. And back he goes again. Quickly outside to Craig. Craig out of bounds at about the 36-37 by Perry Williams. Picked up 5, a 49er first down, and stops the clock.
You remember when Roger Craig used to be a big part of that receiving core, and that was the first pass that he's caught so far, and there is a flag down there.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 77. 15 yards from the...
Eric Dorsey is number 77.
Parcells is very upset. 77 is Dorsey on the right hand of the screen, coming right through here. I'll tell you, the only thing that it looked like Marshall hit him high. I don't know. The only thing I could see that they could have called on Eric Dorsey was going low for the knees.
And he was falling down.
But, I mean, that looked like a normal pass rush. I mean, 2 ends meeting at the quarterback.
1st and 10. Craig goes in motion. They're in field goal range, or they were. Leonard Marshall and Lawrence Taylor.
Leonard Marshall better not get too upset, or he's going to get a 15-yard penalty. He came wheeling around there, and then he jumped up and took a punch at Bubba.
Worth another look, certainly.
Well, watch him. He'll come around down here in the bottom of the screen. He takes it inside. Bubba Paris just missed him. Now he comes up, and Bubba is diving on the pile there, and Leonard really took off after Bubba Paris.
Timeout 49ers.
Let's watch that play again. Here's Bubba Paris. Leonard Marshall takes a hard inside on him. Then Bubba has to chase him, and he just dives on the pile after Joe Montana's already down and the play's over.
2nd and 18. Here's Montana back to throw it. Gets it out to Craig again, and he steps out of bounds. Picked up 3 yards. Stopped the clock again. Perry Williams, again the defender. 13 seconds left first half.
I don't know why Leonard Marshall was so upset. I mean, he beat Bubba Paris cleanly. That was about that was what you call throwing a whiffer on a guy. I mean, big Leonard got outside and took the inside. That last time he took the outside. I think if I were playing Bubba against Joe Montana, where you need an inside pass rush, I think I would take another inside rush on Bubba.
3rd down. Montana back in the pocket, this time with time. Gets the ball to Craig. At about the 17. 8 seconds left on the clock. 9-yard gain. 49ers take their last timeout. And they will try to tie it up. The Giants leading 6-3. Nothing but field goals so far.
Yeah, you think of the last time they played on the Monday night, the 49ers winning that game 7-3. This is the same type of game, a very intense game, and excellent defenses by both sides. You know, I mean, you know, they say bend a little but don't break. They're just bending very, very little and not breaking at all on either defensive side.
Kofor will try this time from about 35 yards. He hit earlier from 42. The Giants lead 6-3 from 35 yards to tie it by Kofor. accounted for all the points. 2 field goals for each team, and it's 6-6 with 3 seconds left to play in the first half.
Yeah, I think last time they played, we talked about that intensity and what it meant. And this game's for a championship. This is sudden death. I mean, there's no tomorrow. The winner goes on to the Super Bowl. The loser's forgotten. And everything is here to say you can't afford any little mistake. And I think that both teams came in offensively, and they wanted to open it up more and do things, but maybe the defenses are just too good for them to do it.
And I think you lose sight sometimes. That other game, the 7-3 game in the regular season, was just indeed that, a regular season game. You had another chance. You had 2 or 3 more chances. But in this case, as you point out, there are no more chances.
You know, and talking to the players, they all feel that, you know, you take a Super Bowl for granted. You know, you get there and you say, geez, it's good to be here in the Super Bowl. But then as you get older, you start to thinking, I have this chance. I may never get another chance the rest of my life. And this is it. And now it's going to come down to another half. I mean, the whole season is going to come down to the second half of this football game.
And the younger players, to a man, say, we want this championship for the guys who may never get another chance. Bouncing kickoff by Kofer. Fielded safely by the Giants. Returned by Howard Cross. That's the end of the first half. With the score, the Giants 6, the 49ers 6. And then a report from CBS News when we come back.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football Conference Championship game is sponsored by Miller Lite, the only beer that has your tickets to Super Bowl 25. Nike, who reminds you to just do it. And by New Diet Dr. Pepper. Try New Diet Dr. Pepper and discover why there's no stopping the taste.
Welcome back to the City by the Bay, everyone. At halftime, our score, the Giants 6 and the San Francisco 49ers 6. Greg Gumbel along with Terry Bradshaw. You talk about 2 teams with defense-oriented. They have totaled 22 points now in 6 quarters of play this season. The Buffalo Bills only scored 21 in the first quarter by themselves today, Terry, and the Giants have done a great job on Joe Montana.
Yeah, they have. You know, we talked at the offset of the show that Montana has that unique ability, Greg, to go to the first and second, and then the real unique ability to go to the third and the fourth receiver. And one of the ways to stop it, let me show you, is that what the Giants will do is that if they can get tight pressure on the first and second receiver and then get pressure on Montana, that will take away the third receiver. Here's a man in motion. He will cross. This man will come and cross. These linebackers settle here. Here's 1. Here's 2. Rice at the top will come inside. He's the third receiver. Here comes motion. Montana back, keying the linebackers. Looks. Now you stop it right there. Look, 2 guys actually covering here. Here's coverage. This man clears him out. Here's the hole, but the pressure on Montana doesn't allow him time to come to the third receiver, who is wide open. Nice job by the Giants.
Now, Joe Montana today has completed 14 of 18 passes for 104 yards, while Jeff Hostetler is 7 of 13 for 76 yards. 6-6, our score at halftime. Let's check in on the New York Giants first now, and here's Leslie Visser. Leslie.
Greg, the Giants came up the tunnel confident and a little bit angry. They were yelling. They didn't understand why the 49ers were talking about going to another Super Bowl. Offensive coordinator Ron Earhart said it in the run-pass play in the first quarter that Maurice Carthon had his arm raked at the last minute by Matt Millen. It wasn't that he lost it in the sun. He said they like a couple things in the second half. One, the backs to hit the holes a little bit quicker because the 49ers are so quick to shed their blocks. He also said they've spent a lot of time with possession of the ball but don't have a lot of points to show for it. They'd like to get in the end zone. Let's go over and check in on Pat O'Brien.
All right, V, thank you. Usually in a 6-6 tie, you find somebody happy going into the locker room, but here on both sides of the ball, the offensive and defensive coaches, very unhappy so far, as now the 49ers come out of the locker room for the second half. The offensive people are saying we just got to get the ball back in the hands of Joe Montana. Montana and company on the sidelines for just under 18 minutes, very anxious to get in the game, and they're a little edgy there. Montana, by the way, is not feeling any effects of the flu. Keith DeLong had a sprained ankle. They're taping him up, and the word from Jerry Rice was we just got to turn it up as you see him go out. Back to you, Greg.
All right, Pat. Now, of course, these two teams are battling today to see who gets to meet the Buffalo Bills in Tampa next Sunday in Super Bowl 25. The Buffalo Bills just trampled the Raiders in the AFC Championship game today at Rich Stadium in Buffalo, 51-3. Jim Kelly had another fine day, 2 touchdown passes, this one to James Lofton.
The great job by Kelly, but more importantly, this is his second effort, a touchdown pass earlier, called back. Then all of a sudden, Kelly comes back and gets Lofton.
Boy, what a horrible day Jay Schrader had throwing the football. 5 interceptions, including this one by Darryl Talley.
Well, if you hold the ball a long time on shallow crossing routes, you do not see the backside linebackers. Talley sitting right there, and Jay just didn't see him and threw it right to him.
The Bills just cruised to victory, 51-3. The traditional dousing of head coach Marv Levy, and after the game, defensive end Bruce Smith. He says they've come a long way.
Very few guys have been around here through the bad times. I'm one of them. We went 2-14 my first year. Buffalo Bills have come a long way. We're going to the show.
They are indeed. Bruce Smith and the Buffalo Bills advancing to Tampa and to Super Bowl Sunday. 6-6 tie as the Giants return to the field here at Candlestick. Pat and John will be back with second half action right after this.
Monday, get ready for good news. Good sports shines. Bart Simpson, move over. Farrah and Ryan make a winning combination.
You destroyed my house.
I got you a goldfish. The Washington Post calls it CBS's First Down.
I'm a grown man.
Watch America's newest dream team after Murphy Brown.
This is round 1.
Good sports. Monday.
You passed?
When Elizabeth gets her license, will she put a dent in the Major's career?
Some damn fool has destroyed my MJ.
National Football Conference Championship game is sponsored by Visa, honored at over 8 million places worldwide. It's everywhere you want to be. Today, Chevrolet, who invite you to see why more people are winning with the heartbeat of America. Purina, makers of a complete line of new nutritious dog foods, pet tested, veterinarian recommended. And by Budweiser, with that clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud.
A 6-6 tie at the half at Candlestick in the NFC Championship game. Joe Montana apparently suffering no ill effects from his 2-day bout with the flu. When you think of 6-6, John, you think of, hey, neither team can generate any offense. But in this case, it's been just good defense.
Well, yeah, it's been very good defense, especially the closer they get to the goal lines. It happened to both teams. They can move the ball kind of between the 20s, and then they get there, and the defenses come up with big plays. Now, there is one exception. I mean, the Giants did have a break. They had Carthon wide open. Watch this one. Remember this? The run past David Megan, throwing to Maurice Carthon. He was wide open in the end zone. He had the 49ers fooled and dropped that pass. You know, we can look at that from the other angle. Someone said that maybe he hit his arm. There was no hitting in the arm.
No.
Megan threw a perfect pass, and Maurice Carthon just missed it.
Well, what do you expect in the second half here at Candlestick?
I think more of the same. I think that, you know, I mean, both teams are upset. Both teams, you know, feel that they should get the ball in there, and I'm sure that they're going to say that, you know, as Jerry Rice says, we have to turn it up a notch and use all those words. I think that one thing that's probably going to be a big play in the second half is defense now coming up with a big play, that being a turnover, and then either the turnover scoring or giving the turnover to the offense, and they go in and score, and that team will win the game.
Well, the 49ers, excuse me, had said to us, if we don't turn it over, we will win. And, of course, the Giants are the best in the NFC at making the opponents turn it over.
Yeah, and the other thing is the Giants have had a lot of time of possession. The offense has been out there a long time, and they can't really have, in all due respect, the cardiovascular endurance that the 49ers have because of being there in the East and working out in that weather. You really can't run like you can if you're a West Coast team. So it'll be interesting to see if conditioning plays in the second half.
Hofer's kick will go to Meggett at about the 1. Didn't quite get to the 20. A return of 18, and he was knocked down and knocked down hard by Spencer Tillman.
Yeah, that's another area. We've talked about the offense and the defense, but these special teams are going at it today. This is about as good a coverage on both sides as you're going to see in a football game.
Good balance on the offense. total yards for the Giants and the 49ers just about equal. And it could be, as John Madden says, the difference in the special teams and the coverage. Harthon in motion. Hostetler gives to Anderson, and he's hit in the backfield by Michael Walter, just activated.
Remember earlier, just at the end of the half, we saw Keith DeLong go out, so then they had to bring Michael Walter in. Watch 43, though, Dave Waymer. He's a strong safety. He gets up across the line and into the backfield. That makes O.J. Anderson cut back. And then when he cuts back, he has to cut right into Michael Walter.
A loss on the play of 4 yards, 2nd and 14. A 6-6 tie in the NFC Championship game. Ronnie Lott up right in the middle, showing blitz and then coming out. Hostetler. Flag on the play from both directions.
And they're going to throw that one on Don Griffin of the 49ers. That's going to be because he was there and he had some cloth he had to hold before the ball got there.
Number 29, defense.
That's on Don Griffin. A very emphatic display of flags from all directions.
Well, you could see that. You see the arm in there, the hand in there, and everything before the ball gets there to Stephen Baker. That was one that they all felt pretty good about calling.
The big first down for the Giants. In the opening seconds of the 3rd quarter, the game tied at 6. That's Meggett. Flag again on the play. Ronnie Lott made the stop on Dave Meggett. This one's against the Giants. Meggett got 6 yards.
Holding.
Tell me who it was against.
65, offense. 10-yard penalty.
Against the center, Bart Oates.
I'll tell you, Oates has a tough job here because we look at Oates here, and the guy that he has to block is Michael Carter, who is one of the best in football. And if you don't get something on him, he is very difficult. That looked like a very picky call in there. Oates was trying to influence Carter on that play.
He's a tough man to influence.
He just kind of goes where he wants to. He takes that load where he wants the load to go.
1st and 20. They're back at the 19. Hostetler fakes a draw. Pass is complete to Ingram. And Ingram at the 40. That's enough for a Giant first down. Depending upon the mark. They got 21 yards. Waymer and Lott brought him down.
And how Hostetler got the ball out of there, we'll see Ingram come up here. This is a zone. You take the bump, then you get past the bump, then you find the hole. The hole between the corner who just bumped you and the safety, 43 Waymer, who's coming over. But how Hostetler got that ball out of there, I have no idea.
He had a man right in his face.
Well, he kind of threw it sidearm or underneath. I think it was Charles Haley.
To Meggett. Meggett hit by Haley and Lott. Walter with an assist.
Yeah, this is where guys like Ronnie Lott starts to make plays. I know that he has a lot of respect for David Meggett. He says that, you look at the guy and you think he's a little guy, but you better be ready to hit him because in those legs, he has a heck of a lot of power. And watch Lott come up. And you see him, Lott even took a little jolt there. Do you see that thing, that spine kind of shiver and the head go back a little?
Meggett, small but very strong. Anderson and Carthon, the running backs now. 2nd down. They show blitz. This is Anderson. To outside the 45, a gain of 2. For a moment.
Hey, there's 2 old guys going at it, Matt Millen and O.J. Anderson. I don't know what they're so upset about. Matt Millen is one of those guys that wants Anderson, I think, to run inside, and he's running outside, so he has to chase him out there.
He doesn't need reason to be upset.
I think if the Giants are going to win this game before it's over, O.J. Anderson is going to be a pretty big part of it.
3rd and 5. 9 carries, just 20 yards for Anderson as Hostetler operates this time out of the spread formation. Oates, the snap without looking. Hostetler down by Haley. The Giants will have to punt.
I'll tell you, he took a tough inside move on Riesenberg. You're going to see him here. He comes inside. See, he looks like he'd go outside like it, but no, he comes inside and takes a tough inside move on Riesenberg. You see him there? Riesenberg steps out. Boom! Charles Haley goes right inside, and when he does, he's right on Hostetler.
Landeta back to punt it. And Taylor back deep for the 49ers. Landeta. Good kick. Chases Taylor all the way back to the 8-yard line. And the Giants down in a hurry. He got one miss, and he's got some room. And now Taylor steps out of bounds as he faces Landeta on the sideline. 55-yard punt, 24-yard net. Taylor brought it back 31. 6-6 in the NFC Championship at Candlestick Park, San Francisco and New York.
Well, they were trying to punt it to Landeta's left. Get Taylor out there where Renee Thompson's coming down. They did that. Taylor took it, but then he started that side and then boom, brought it all the way across the field.
1st and 10, 49ers, their own 39-yard line. Pass is caught by Taylor. He could be gone. Touchdown. 61-yard touchdown.
Everson Walls is a gambler, always has been, number 28. Everson Walls goes for the interception. Watch 28 come in there. He goes right there and gets in front of Taylor. Now the bad thing is when you miss the interception and you go for it in front of him and there's no one behind you, it's a touchdown.
Now they're holding up the extra point as the officials go into conference. And let's see.
You know, how about John Taylor on that drive, though, Pat? He was the guy who got it started with the big punt return, then the big pass. John Taylor really, I think he caught the punt on that 10. John Taylor really took that football 90 yards.
That's what they're reviewing, whether he stepped out of bounds or not.
After further review, the play stands. Touchdown.
You see, it stands. It's where the ball is. The ball, remember, the ball has to cross the plane. See, both feet are in and the ball's over the plane. There's no doubt in that one. But again, what a drive by John Taylor. Of course, he had a little help from his blockers and a little help from Joe Montana.
Or the extra point then. Hofer hits it. The first touchdown, the first extra point of the day, and it's 13-6 49ers. 13-6, the 49ers lead it with 10:28 left in the third quarter.
Hey, Lawrence Taylor's talking about the rush, but that was Joe Montana had a little time. John Taylor is equally as dangerous as anyone in this league. Everson Walls, who's been a heck of a cornerback over the years, took a gamble, took an angle, and when he did, Taylor caught it. It was a touchdown.
Duerson and Meggett back deep.
But of course, John Taylor, you know, started it all off, and it's usually a special teams play that will start it off. That's what Meggett is thinking of right now, because that punt return to Taylor really gave the 49er life.
You could just see it pick him up. at about the 4. And again, they do the job on special teams. Michael Walter down again. The touchdown again.
Let's watch it. Here's Taylor, and here's Walls. Now watch what happens at the point of the break. You see Walls is off. Now if we just stop it here, we'll see Taylor's coming here. Walls is okay here, but when he goes for that interception angle and Taylor catches it, there's no one there. See now the angle he takes right there by going for the interception, then he loses the whole thing. This has been a tough stadium for Everson Walls.
Indeed. First and 10 Giants from their own 21. Hostetler back to throw. Pass is caught by Ingram. And Ingram outside the 40. Tough stadium, yes. It was 9 years ago in this stadium in the NFC Championship game that we first got a glimpse of that 49er magic. You might remember this play.
Pick up sometime on the right side, possibly. Montana looking, throwing in the end zone. Caught it! Dwight Clark!
Everson Walls was the cornerback covering that day. Anderson over the left side, no gain. Maybe he got a couple. Kevin Fagan and Matt Millen there to make the stop.
You know, and Everson Walls has never forgotten that one because they even have a name. That was Dwight Clark, of course, catching the ball, who still is with the 49ers and works for them, but they call that here in San Francisco the catch. That, of course, was a play that knocked the Cowboys out of the Super Bowl and put the 49ers in their first Super Bowl.
Walls reminds you that he intercepted 2 passes that day and also recovered a fumble. Here's Hostetler back to throw it. Screen pass to Anderson. Hit right at the 45. Everson, by the way, still has not forgotten that fateful day of the catch.
I still remember, what the feeling was when it happened. And I really can't say on TV what I said at the time. I can be looking at that play when I'm sitting there with my kids, and if I throw my kid up in there and we're having fun, then all of a sudden the play comes on, I don't drop my kid. Life goes on is what I'm saying.
Indeed, life does go on. 3rd and 6. Hostetler out of the shotgun formation. Fake draw, and Hostetler comes out of there. Navarro, incomplete flag on the play. Ronnie Lott very nearly came up with the interception, but a penalty marker down.
You don't see that play a lot. That was a bootleg or waggle out of the shotgun. That's a play that the Giants have run a lot of, and Hostetler has run a lot of. But usually he's up under center, but they took the same idea.
Interference, number 43, defense. Automatic first down.
That's David Waymer called for pass interference.
And as we heard Jerry McBride said, you see the hands in the back right there on Bavaro. In fact, he's tackling Bavaro before the ball gets there. That's how Lott almost got the interception. Dave Waymer tackled Mark Bavaro. Of course, that brings an automatic first down.
Giants now in 49er territory at the 46. Hostetler takes to Anderson. Looking for someplace to go, starts to scramble and gets back to about the line of scrimmage. Stopped by Burt.
That was a heck of a play by Jim Burt because he really stretched out, and Burt can't stretch out much. I mean, Burt is kind of one of those short and squatty guys, and he gets a little rush. Just watch him on the rush and the play that he makes at the end. He starts here. Now, Hostetler doesn't have a run. Now, if we just see him right there, number 64, making that little stretch out was the most Burt stretched in 3 years.
Especially with his uniform as tight as he keeps it. It's almost impossible to stretch. Hostetler back to throw. Had a man wide open. Maurice Carthon. Pass incomplete.
Yeah, that was a pretty good rush again by Jim Burt, who really helped He took Bart Oates, the center, and just pushed him right back into Hostetler. Watch him take Oates. Watch him. See 65? He pushes him right there, and Hostetler couldn't step up and get everything on the ball. In fact, at the end of the play, he knocked him down. Just watch it straight up the middle here. Two old friends, two old teammates. You see him, he's hitting, he hit right through it. He knocked Hostetler down.
Bart Oates was saying that his wife and Bert's wife usually watch the games together, but not today. Pass is complete to Bavaro. 13-yard gain, stopped by Romanowski and Davis, but first down Giants.
You know what the Giants used for a pep talk last night to get the team fired up? Supposedly, now I don't know if this is true or not, but the Giants said, and Bill Parcells said, that the 49ers have moved all their stuff down to Tampa. They have their desks, their offices, and they're all ready to go. And he said he heard about that, and then so that was his pep talk to the team last night. Hey, they think they're going to three-peat. We'll show them what a three-peat is.
Hand off to Anderson. Anderson hammers to the 30. Stopped by Fagan. Looked as if one of the 49ers might have been offsides or encroached, but he got back.
This is where the Giants are so tough. They just get the ball, even though the 49ers scored on one play. They just get the ball, methodically drive it down the field on you and take everything out of you. But as the defensive guys are thinking right there, they have to get it in the end zone. They have to score a touchdown.
2nd and 7 at the 30. Bill Parcells said, we like to make the game shorter. Doing just what you said. This is Megan. And the toss left. And the pursuit from the 49ers is excellent. Larry Roberts and Michael Walter. Meggett got only a yard.
I think one thing, I think they have to go back to a little mixture down here. I think they have to throw some on first down. I think they have to use their play passes and bootlegs and, you know, and throw that, and even try and throw that fade again. Don't get away from that.
3rd and 6 situation for the Giants.
This is the area the Giants used to always go to Dave Meggett in this situation out of the backfield, but everyone has started double teaming him and making him go to other guys.
Ronnie Lotta faking blitz. Hostetler fumbles and finally gets rid of the ball to Meggett. A two-handed shovel just at the last second. When it looked like he was fumbling, Darrell Pollard made the stop. Meggett got a yard after all that, and they'll have to settle. Or will they?
Yeah, I think they have to. I mean, it's too early in the game, and again, they're only down by 7, and I don't think you have any decision here because they really haven't been that successful. Again, I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but they haven't been successful in this area moving the ball, so you have to kick the field goal.
46 yards out. Line drive by Barr is good. He's 3 for 3, and it's 13-9 in the championship game. Pat Summerall with John Madden back at Candlestick Park, San Francisco, the NFC Championship game between the 49ers and Giants. 13-9 over on the sideline. It's 49ers.
That's what happens to a defensive lineman when you've been spending your whole day chasing a running quarterback. Defensive linemen hate to play against quarterbacks that run. And when they do, the oxygen bill goes higher.
Barr's kickoff sails into and through the end zone, so the 49ers start from the 20. Night on air on N tonight on CBS on 60 Minutes. Craig goes in motion to the right. Montana goes back to throw. Gets it up the middle to Rice. Close to a first down, stopped by Banks.
Now the 49ers are going no huddle. Trying to change the pace of this game. Trying to get a win right here.
First down. Under 4 minutes left.
Harris Barton moves.
Yep.
No, right, yeah, you try. It drives you nuts as a coach. You say, okay,
Full
let's
start.
do this. We're going to first down, then we do it.
Offense.
And a
5
guard
yards,
moves.
First down.
That's why George Seifert's wearing that old gray sweatshirt. You know, you think of all the wear and apparel. How'd you pick that one out of the pile?
Matches his hair.
Yeah. You're like, what am I going to wear today? Give me that old gray sweatshirt we got laying around here.
San Francisco's 8th penalty. First and 15. Blitz coming. Bangs after Montana. Rathman by reasons. A gain of only 1. There's Steve Young signaling in the plays to Montana. Again, no huddle.
George Seifert was saying that Steve Young has gotten better by not playing.
Montana flushed out of the pocket, and down he goes. Back at about the 19 by Taylor and Eric Howard.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're a veteran. And you see what happens. You see the guy coming here. You see Howard's going to come here. And you see Taylor's coming up on the top side. And watching your veteran quarterback, you say, well, what am I going to do right now? I don't have a chance. You better go down. Here's Taylor. He's been pretty quiet all day. He just makes a pretty good pass rush there on Steve Wallace. And once he gets the quarterback in his sights, he's going to get him.
20. Montana this time with time throws it away. Walls might have gotten a hand on it. It was intended for Taylor. And the 49ers will have to punt with 2 minutes and 38 seconds left to play in the third quarter.
And see, that time Walls was the safety, because in the nickel, what they do is they bring in Perry Williams. He plays a corner. Then Walls goes in behind him and plays the safety.
Barry Helton in to do the punting. That was the other 49er kicker a moment ago, Kofer. A good luck sign, I guess. Good kick by Helton. Meggett retreats to his own 27. Meggett out of bounds at the 45 by Romanowski. 52-yard punt. 17-yard return. 13-9, the 49ers lead. Trailing 13-9. Handoff to Anderson. And O.J. gets into 49er territory, stopped by Millen and Lott.
Yeah, that may be the thing. We remember the touchdown the 49ers got. It was a punt return by Taylor, got him good field position, and boom, then they hit the long pass to John Taylor. Now, the Giants got a pretty good return and good field position inside the 50, and the thing, again, it still has to be haunting them. They can get the ball down there. Can they get it in for a touchdown?
2nd and 1 right now at the 49er 46. Hostetler going for the bunch. Intended for Ingram, no flags. Darryl Pollard back there with him.
Hey, Darryl Pollard has held up well today. Everyone works. They kind of stay away from Griffin and the other side. And if they're going to work the deep one, the ups, they always work it on Pollard. Well, they've been doing it all year. Now they're in the championship game. He probably has more experience covering these than anyone else.
And that'll get you better. Just the work.
Well,
third and short.
Too. You know, if they're going to look for someone, they look for Pollard.
Anderson behind Hostetler. Gets the carry. Got the first down and more. O.J. Anderson. Stiff arms Ronnie Lott. Out of bounds inside the 20.
You know, the amazing thing, Dave Waymer was right there up on the line of scrimmage. The strong safety was up there, and O.J. Anderson ran right by him. Watch, here he is right here. Here's Waymer here. O.J. is going to take the ball and go, pew, right by him. Now, I don't know what held Waymer. Look, he's the outside guy. He comes up, no one blocks him. O.J. runs right by him.
27 yards for O.J. Anderson. Lott knocked him out of bounds. 1st and 10 Giants.
And Lott got to kick him in the head.
Fake is to Carthon. The handoff is to Meggett. Takeoff on the option play, no gain. Darryl Pollard up to hit him.
That was the old college option, but if you notice in the NFL, the quarterbacks pitch the ball a lot quicker than they do in college. It was a fake, and then he came down. He got rid of that option. That's the kind of quarterback tells the coach, yeah, you can call it. I'm not going to run it.
Clock running.
Bill Parcells doesn't want another play. He, again, wants to shorten the game. He doesn't want another play this quarter.
The Giants, with that long run by Anderson, went to 105-yard rushing. That's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score. The 49ers 13, the Giants 9. Our coverage will continue after this message and then a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. 13-9 at Candlestick. God bless you, GIs. And again, if there are further developments in the Persian Gulf, come back safe. That's a development that would be certainly welcome. But if there are, CBS News will stay on top of it, and we'll switch back to them. Beautiful day in San Francisco. Temperature in the 60s, bright sunshine. Wind has picked up just a little bit, and now it's at the back of the Giants. Anderson, the lone setback behind Hostetler. Cross was the man in motion. Hostetler looks to throw, has it batted away. Just in case it might have been a lateral.
You know, this is the thing. The Giants have to score a touchdown here. I mean, they don't have to, but if they're going to go to the Super Bowl, that's what they need. They need a touchdown here, and they have to be thinking about that. You know, that they haven't scored in so long inside this 20 against this team.
They got 3 field goals, but no touchdown. 3rd and 10 at the 19. Hostetler will operate out of the spread formation. Meggett goes in motion. Batted down by the 49ers, and one more time they'll have to settle for a field goal. Pierce Holt got the big hand up to knock it down.
Well, on one play it's Carter, and the next play it's Pierce Holt. And again, they're keeping containment. You see where Hostetler has no place to run, and then they're pushing the pocket in the middle and then getting his hands. And it's like putting a fence around him and a fence in front of him.
This time from 37 yards for Barr. No good. Looked as if he was in too much of a hurry. Still 13-9.
Now you can enjoy the drink.
I mean, you know, we've never had hammers on the team, but you never know what's going to be on the team, and it has to be ready because it's going to be on next Saturday night at 9 o'clock. So we have to be getting ready, and we're not there yet. We don't have them all together, but we're just kind of gathering, we're calling it, gathering the team together.
13-9, the 49ers. Here's Montana back to throw it. And front of Walls this time, and complete to Rice. A gain of 14.
Yeah, Jeff Hostetler has really done an excellent job after Phil Simms went down of taking this team and bringing it through and then getting it to into the playoffs and playing today. And the thing, he's having the same problem with his 49er defense today that Phil Simms had with it on a Monday night. Phil Simms can attest to that this 49er defense is one tough defense.
1st and 10 San Francisco. The handoff is to Craig. Roger Craig outside the 40. Wrapped up by Pepper Johnson. A pickup of 7 yards.
See, now is where the 49ers would like to get their running game. You know, they really don't have a running game and haven't had one all year, but there are certain times, there's Mike Holmgren, the offensive coordinator, and as he knows, there are certain times that you have to be able to run. And one of these times is getting close at hand, the end of the game, when you have one, to run time off the clock.
That was their longest run of the day. 7 yards by Craig. Second and 3, the Giants blitz quickly. Craig, I don't know. Incomplete. Hit by Greg Jackson, recovered by Lawrence Taylor. Incomplete pass.
Well, I'll tell you, that was more than a hit by Greg Jackson. I mean, that knocked everything out of Craig. Watch that. He comes up here. As he catches the ball, watch 47 hit and make that play. Whoa.
You notice that the Giants are all wearing yellow armbands. That in honor of our servicemen and women in the Persian Gulf. 3rd and 3. Flag on the play. He saw he was about to be sacked and just tucked it away.
I think there was probably motion or
Full
movement.
start, number 77, offense.
That's what it was. There was movement against Bubba Paris. So what happens is the whistle blows. Bubba is the end man up here, and he moves before the ball snaps. Now, the minute that he moves, then the officials blow the whistle. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't say, that's not right. He didn't move. Bubba hasn't moved. These guys have some phantom calls out there.
Really?
That's the 3rd one. They called one on McIntyre where he didn't move, and they called poor old Bubba didn't move.
If anybody moved then, it was McIntyre next to Bubba.
Yeah. I have no idea where they've got a couple of these calls today.
There's Sherrard in motion. Montana chased by Taylor, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Rice. Montana will limp off.
It looks, it was one of the things that he saw Taylor coming. You know, when a guy comes from the backside, you know, it's the tough one. But watch him. Here comes Taylor from the left side, but right into Montana's face. You see where Montana looked? He looked down and he saw Taylor there. Taylor beating Steve Wallace, and he said, I better get rid of this one.
I think as Taylor went by, he kicked Montana in the knee unintentionally. Steve Young gets up. Meggett back deep for the Giants. Helton to punt it. Not his best. Meggett will handle. And taken down by Romanowski. 35-yard punt. A 7-yard return.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football Conference Championship game is sponsored by Toyota and its quality line of cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. AT&T, the right choice. And by Federal Express for documents, packages, and freight worldwide. Absolutely, positively the best in the business.
The NFC Championship game at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. 13-9, the 49ers lead. The Fuji blimp furnishing those wonderful shots of San Francisco, the Bay Area, and Candlestick. To Meggett. Hit hard after a couple of yards by Darryl Pollard. Montana, we are informed, got kicked in the knee, but will return.
Well, you know, we're getting into the area where Montana's at his best. You know, when you get to the end of something, whether it be the end of the half or the end of the game, and they need a drive, there's no one better than the master, and that's Joe Montana.
2nd and 8. Giants have the ball at their own 39-yard line. Hostetler back to throw it. Pass is caught by Ingram. First down, Giants in 49er territory. Waymer made the stop, a pickup of 14.
You Yeah, they've done a pretty good job of finding that area, but on that play, Pat, Jeff Hostetler got hit after he throws that, and he is still down. They've been finding that area of the zone. Hostetler got hit after he threw the ball, and he's not getting up.
Matt Cavanaugh is the backup quarterback for the Giants. He got hit on the left knee just as he let that ball go. There's Cavanaugh. 13-9, the 49ers lead the Giants with 12:07 left to play. Here's what happened to Jeff Hostetler.
Well, it was Jim Burt, the old New York Giant. He's going to come straight up the middle. Watch 64 right there, and he hits Hostetler right on the left knee.
And Jeff Hostetler is still down. And now up. And Matt Cavanaugh, in the meantime, is getting instructions from the Giant coaching staff.
See, here's Jim Burt. He's going to push right here and come right up and get Hostetler right in this point. He's a nose tackle. He starts over. He's playing over Bart Oates. He comes to Oates' left, gets a little help right there, gets squeezed, and runs right between the center and the right guard. He just split Bart Oates and Eric Moore.
Hostetler walking a little bit better the closer he got to the sideline, but Cavanaugh is now up under the center. He gives to Anderson, right side for a couple. Maybe just a yard, stopped again by Burt.
Yeah, we were talking last night to Bill Parcells about Matt Cavanaugh, and, you know, knowing that he's the only other quarterback, and he says, well, he's a crafty old vet. You know, he's played for 13 years, and one of the teams that Cavanaugh played for, of course, was this 49er team, so he has a pretty good sense of what they do. And the Giants have had success playing the 49ers. They played them tough on defense. They can move the ball against them, but again, they get down there and they can't get it in inside the 20, so maybe Matt Cavanaugh will have a shot at doing it now.
Carthon on the move. Cavanaugh back to throw. And that was a rusty hinge.
Yeah, I think so. That was a 13-year-old hinge that hasn't played in about 11 years. And it looks like on the Giants sideline that they're doing everything to try to get Hostetler back so that they can get him back in there. You know, the one thing that would take away, even if they could get him back in there, he wouldn't be able to run. He wouldn't be able to do those. He wouldn't have those bootlegs and waggles and stuff.
3rd and 8. Cavanaugh. No shotgun. He's up under the center. 49ers have 10 people up on the line of scrimmage. And the blitz for a while had Cavanaugh. Flag on the play. He scrambled away from the first wave.
I'll tell you, there's going to be a lot of words after this game about Jim Burt, because the Giants come in feeling, you know, he used to play for him, and, you know, and that he has gone after someone's knees. I thought that was a legitimate play.
To the hands, number 66, offense. Penalty decline.
He's still explaining what he did and how it went, but that could have been the play. I mean, that could have been the defensive play, is Jim Burt's pass rush.
Well, you think back a few years ago when he was with the Giants. Remember, it was Jim Burt that hit Joe Montana and injured his back.
And knocked Joe Montana out of the game. Remember, that was in the Meadowlands in New York. He knocked him out.
Landetta's kick hangs high, and Taylor signals fair catch at the 23. 32-yard punt. 13-9. They're still working on Hostetler.
Guys that are still looking at that to determine if he's going to return or not. I think they're doing everything they can on the sideline to get him to return. In fact, you see Bill Parcells is even in there asking, you know, can you go? Can you go? The two doctors, the trainers, everyone watching him.
Hostetler 13 out of 23 for 144 yards before he left. The whole offense, obviously, since Sims went down, built around the mobility and abilities of Jeff Hostetler. If something happened to Kavanaugh, Hostetler can't come back, and something happened to Kavanaugh, it would be Tillman who'd take over the quarterbacking duty.
Well, I think when you're talking about the fourth quarter and 10 minutes to go, unless you get into an overtime or something, they're going to be able to finish this game with the combination of Kavanaugh and Hostetler. I think the big thing now is Hostetler's the guy who has the reps and has the game plan. Can they do enough now to get him back in the game?
Montana to Craig. Tripped up by Reasons. No gain. Mark Collins up with an assist.
This is where the...
Excuse me, John, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, this is where the defense of the Giants really have to come through. I mean, they've led the league in turnovers, and if ever you're going to make something happen, if you're ever going to come up with a defensive play that's going to be a turnover, whether it's a tackle, it's a tip, it's a bounce, it's something, the Giant defense may have to be the ones that do it.
2nd and 10. 49ers from their own 23. They lead 13-9. Montana back to throw it. Pass incomplete. Intended for Taylor. Pepper Johnson right with him.
Now, this is a good situation to get that turnover. 3rd and long. That's usually when you get them. You usually get them on 3rd and long when they have to force the ball down the field. Now, Montana's smart enough. He's not going to give you. You might get one, but he's not going to give you an easy one. And if the defense doesn't get it here, they have to stop him and then hope to get a big punt return from Dave Maggard.
Hostetler continues to loosen up behind the Giant bench. Here's Montana, long time in the pocket, but chased out, finally hit from behind. The ball's loose, and turnover maybe. I hear him say red ball. That's 49er ball. And Montana's still on his hands and knees.
I'll tell you, and that is the one we know about Joe Montana. We know about his back, and he really took a shot in that back. Although he was rolling to his right, it was still his backside.
Steve Wallace made the recovery for San Francisco. Montana with all kinds of time early.
Well, watch it here, but it was good defense downfield. He had no one to throw to. They knocked him out of the rhythm. Then you see Taylor miss, and right there as he hit Leonard Marshall coming from the backside.
Boy.
Yeah, and I have no idea how Mark Collins missed that ball. But watch Marshall come from behind here, puts his helmet right between his shoulder blades. But watch Mark Collins here. He has this interception. Here comes 25. I mean, the fumble recovery, and he whiffs it.
Right there.
Well, that was a big play for the 49ers. Collins missing and Wallace getting.
That almost was that turnover that you were talking about.
And George Seifert, I think right now, is more concerned about his quarterback because that is a real shot. Joe Montana missed practice on Friday and Saturday with the flu, so he's a little weakened. But even if he hadn't missed practice, you can't take shots like that. He is still down.
Usually he has that sense of when someone is coming from the other side. In this case, there's no way he could have seen Marshall.
Well, I think he was trying to get away from Taylor. Remember, Lawrence Taylor was the first guy there. He was trying to avoid him. And then in doing so, Leonard Marshall got him from behind.
It'll bring up 49ers 4th down and 4 from their own 29. 9 minutes and 41 seconds remain. San Francisco leading 13-9.
I don't know, what part they're checking. If they're checking the back, you remember that Joe Montana had back surgery a couple years ago and came back and played that same season. And since that time, of course, has been the best quarterback in all of football.
Steve Young is his backup, and he brings another element. Here is what happened to Montana.
Well, if we can stop it here, we can see good Giant defense. You see they have everything covered. They're bumping here. They got a man on everyone. The only thing he has is something short here that he doesn't look at. But that is good zone defense here, and that's what throws him out of his rhythm. Now you see everything is covered. Now he has to get out of there to buy some time. Now watch here. He avoids Taylor, and Marshall gets him. You see over there, you look at the side that he's running to, everything is covered. See, Collins has good defense there, good coverage. Guyton is good coverage. Everyone is covered. There's no one for him to throw to, so he has to take the hit.
Montana up. But woozy. No doubt about that. Still feeling the effects. Hostetler, in the meantime, up on the other sideline and will probably come back when the Giants get the ball. Meggett back deep, and Helton on it. Have to let it bounce. Now Meggett feels it at the last second and gets back to where it bounced. 35-yard punt by Helton. Giants have all 3 of their timeouts left. The 49ers have 2. Hostetler trotting back, and he doesn't look as if he's hurting. On the other side, they still check Montana. 1st and 10, Giants, their own 38. 49ers lead by 4 points. Nothing doing. Maybe he got a couple of yards with that last surge.
You know, I think somewhere, Pat, here to win this game, I think the Giants have to go back to that game plan they started with today. And the one they started with last week against the Bears is that you have to loosen this defense up on 1st down. The 49er defense is really tightening up on them, and I think they have to give them some 1st down pass or play pass.
2nd and 7. Anderson got 3. Hostetler back to throw, chased out of the pocket quickly, and now he comes out of there. Maybe he didn't lose all that mobility.
That is amazing. They carry the guy off with the knee, and I thought that they were just trying to get him well enough to be able to hand off and drop back and throw, and he looks like whatever it was, he's fully recovered because he ran well on that play.
He got 6 yards, so they still need 1 for a 1st down. And they'll go with 3 tight ends. Montana still in need of medical attention in front of the 49er bench, or on the 49er bench. 3rd and 1. Big 1st down here, a big 3rd down. What they need is the 1st down. Anderson doesn't get it. Michael Carter. A loss of a yard. They'll have to punt.
That is tough to do when they are bunched up like that. I thought they were going to run left. I have no idea why they're running right here, but it's tough. They got to get away from Michael Carter. Watch Carter. He makes a big play. He runs around and comes right back down that line of scrimmage. Sometimes you feel he's just too big and strong for the Giant offensive line.
4th and 2, and they'll have to punt. Landeta to Taylor. Fake punt, and it's going to work. It's Reasons. Reasons streaking down to inside the 25. 1st down and much, much more.
That's the call they needed. That's the play they needed. They needed something to get him out of this. Bill Parcells came up with it. Probably in the history of the game, Bill Parcells has to be the biggest gambler on 4th down. Watch it, just to snap to Reasons. Good turn in, turn out. Boom, what a hole there. The only guy there is the safety, who was a return man, John Taylor, and he makes a pretty good tackle.
And if he doesn't, that's 6.
And again, the Giants get back to this area where they've had trouble.
1st and 10 Giants at the 49er 24. Handoff is to Anderson to about the 22. Tina Turner and Pierce Holt make the stop.
I'll tell you, this is what you call fighting to get to a Super Bowl. I mean, everyone is down there for every yard. The offense, the defense, the quarterbacks fighting to get well. You know, knowing that at the end of this game, the winners fly to Tampa, Florida. The losers, they forget them.
Montana still dazed, sitting on the 49er bench. 2nd down, 7 for the Giants at the 21. They trailed by 4 points. Fake this time to Anderson. Hostetler has to run away from Haley and get rid of the ball and throw it out of bounds. The report we get on Montana is the doctors want him to stay right where he is, because the report from the 49er bench is that everything hurts.
I think the doctor just wants to mobilize them, just wants them to stay mobile and then just check the different parts.
3rd and 7. Every part. That's a lot to check. Meggett goes in motion. Hostetler passes incomplete. Johnny Jackson got a hand on it. Meggett, I think, the intended receiver. And here comes Barr.
And again, the Giants get the ball down there, but they can't get the touchdown. You talk about frustrating for a coach. He did his part. They went for it on that 4th down with the punt to give him a chance, but just either their offense can't do it or the 49er defense is just very strong there.
38 yards for Barr. And it's a 1-point game. 13-12. The 49ers lead with 5:47 left to play.
And you can't ask for a better championship game than this. You can't think about the what-ifs. You can't think about the one that Barr missed. Had he made it, they'd be ahead now. You can't think about Carthon doing that. You can't think about Joe Montana. You have to think that this is it. There's 5 minutes, 47 seconds left to go. You're 1 point down one side, or you're 1 point up on the other side, and you have 5 minutes and a half to do something about it.
And the winner of this game makes the trip to Tampa, to the Super Bowl, the silver anniversary Super Bowl, to play Buffalo 51-3 over the Raiders. Gregory Hines applauding.
And there's not a lot of Giant fans here in San Francisco, but we did see some of them at the hotel yesterday. And talking about that, the Giants defense has a different game plan for Steve Young. They had a game plan for Montana. Now they kick into a different game plan if Steve Young comes in.
Mars kickoff to Dexter Carter into 1. He gets one excellent block and is down at the 20-yard line by Bobby Abrams. Earlier today, the Bills ran roughshod over the Los Angeles Raiders 51-3. They await the outcome of this game to see who they'll face next week. Remember, no week off. Young, the quarterback, a dangerous runner. To Craig, and he stopped after a little gain and lost the football. Dig it out of there and see who got it.
Giants are good at, and you can tell in this fourth quarter, they've been going after the ball every play.
Taking a while to get it out of there. Find out who does have it.
You can't get any tighter than this. And I don't know. You see it here. They say his knee is down, or they had a judge that his knee was down before the ball comes out of there. I tell you, that is real defense.
49ers line up quickly to run another play, but Jerry Markbright says, wait a minute. They want to have another look at that.
You know, there hasn't been a turnover in today's game, but I'll tell you one thing, they are sure going for him. Now watch here. We'll see when the ball comes out. The knee is down. Now the ball comes out. So the knee was down before the ball came out, and I think the whistle probably blew too.
I heard a whistle. I don't know if it was the right one or not, but they're going to run another play right now. Here's Young. Jones and a big first down. 25-yard gain for the 49ers. Out close to midfield.
The defense the Giant plays, that two zone, you know, where you double rotate on both sides, it does leave you vulnerable in the middle. But Bill Belichick thought that Jones couldn't do anything about it. He thought that Carl Banks could help him, could handle him.
Jones gets rest. Jamie Williams takes his place. They run in that direction to Roger Craig. Craig scrambles to the Giant 45, a gain of 6, stopped by Jackson and Guyton. 13-12, and now we're near the 4-minute mark. The 49ers lead by a point. Joe Montana still dazed.
But Steve Young came in for him and made that play. You wonder why you pay a backup quarterback $1 million. That pass to Brent Jones could be the reason.
They'll let as much time as they can run off that clock. 2nd and 4. 13-12. The 49ers by a point. Young to Craig. A gain of 6, just the kind of play they needed and wanted. Fox made the stop.
Yeah, I saw Roger Craig in the locker room and just before the game, and he had, you know, that big look of excitement that this was a big game, and he hadn't done a lot this year. It hadn't been a Roger Craig year, but he was saying that he felt as good today as he's felt all year.
And that's the 49ers' first rushing first down today.
But if you're only going to have one, what a time to have it.
And the clock continues to tick off those precious seconds. 1st and 10. Craig again, hit behind the line of scrimmage, and the Giants have the ball. Lawrence Taylor out of the pack with the ball. That's the first turnover today.
And you knew that the Giants were going for it, and that's what Bill Parcells is saying. Yep, we need it. So who should get it? Lawrence Taylor, number 56. They want a trap play. Now watch, the ball just pops out the side. The ball's just popped out before Taylor gets here. He doesn't take it away. The ball was coming out. He just caught it in the air.
He was hit by Eric Howard, and it was Howard who knocked the ball loose. And so the Giants take over with 2:36 left to play, trailing by a point.
That's the big thing. The Giants don't have to get in and score a touchdown now.
Here's Hostetler chased out of the pocket. Chased by Burt. Pass is caught by Bavaro. Bavaro fighting for yardage. Johnny Jackson made the stop, a gain of 19. A great throw by Hostetler. those of you expecting to see 60 minutes, you're watching the NFC Championship game on CBS between the Giants and the 49ers, with the winner advancing to the Super Bowl number 25. I'm Pat Summerall along with John Madden. Our score is 13-12, the 49ers by a point. Again, 60 minutes will be seen immediately following the postgame show. 2 minutes left. 13-12. 49ers lead the Giants. The score by quarters, nothing but field goal for the Giants. 1 touchdown. 1st and 10, Giants on the 49ers 38. They have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. The 49ers have 2. Hostetler injured but back. This is O.J. Anderson thrown for a loss by Kevin Fagan.
Joe Montana's up, Pat. We see him walking there in the sideline, but he is walking awfully gingerly.
Boy, is he.
But he doesn't look like he's going to walk to get to play. But I'll tell you, that was a big play, that last one by Kevin Fagan. The Giants were moving here. Kevin Fagan, maybe the most underrated player on this team, came up with a big play right there.
That play was out of sync from the beginning, as the motion man got tangled up in the play and Hostetler back to throw it. Scrambles right, throws right, caught and out of bounds. Inside the 30 by Stephen Baker. Darrell Pollard, the nearest 49er defender.
And Pollard is given too much cushion. Watch, he gets there, he's running stride by stride, but he keeps going. In fact, maybe Baker pushed him a little. Pollard was yelling that he was pushed on that play, and they were going side by side, and I was wondering where the cushion came from. Maybe little Stephen Baker pushed Darrell Pollard to cause the cushion.
3rd and 1. He came back a little too far. Timeout, Giants.
Well, they need the perfect play here, Pat, because if they kick it, it would be a 47-yard field goal. That's right in Matt Barr's range, but I think that they would love to get a first down, take some time off the clock here, too.
Those of us and those of you who might have just joined, to summarize what happened, San Francisco first a field goal to take a 3-0 lead, tied by the Giants. Barr from 28 yards away. Then the Giants went ahead 6-3 on a 42-yarder by Barr. 6-6. The 49ers again by Kofor. Then the touchdown from Montana to Taylor. 49ers went ahead 13-9, and then Barr again from 46 yards out. And then Barr again from 38 yards out to make it, as it is now, 13-12 with a minute and 10 seconds remaining. 3rd and short. They go left side, and Anderson lunges for the first down. Matt Millen and Ronnie Lott made the stop, but he got it.
You know, that's going to be a big first down, because not only does it give the Giants some more downs to get closer for Matt Barr to kick the field goal, gives them an opportunity also to score with a touchdown, but it also is going to take some time off the clock that the Giants could almost guarantee that the 49ers don't get the ball back.
And they take a timeout, the Giants. Anderson got the first down. This game is presented by authority of the National Football League. This telecast intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of CBS, the New York Giants, the 49ers, and the National Football League is prohibited. I'm sorry, it was not a timeout. And now the 49ers take a timeout. George Seifert very upset about something.
40-second timeout.
I think that after the Giants got the first down, they didn't want a timeout. Of course, they want the clock to run. And now once they have the timeout, now the 49ers have to take their timeout.
So they have only one left as a result.
Yeah, I would think the Giants want to save their one for the field goal. You want to be able to stop the clock to kick a field goal if you have to.
Rarely do you see George Seifert that upset.
There will be no charge timeout for either team.
And now he won his argument. No charge timeout for either team.
Yeah, I think that all had to do with the measurement. You know, was it a first down or not? And then they were taking time for the measurement, and they thought it was a timeout.
In the meantime, they sneak some seconds off the clock. Let's see if they rechange that now.
What the coaches are yelling there is bootleg. In other words, watch out for Hostetler faking to the backs going one way and him going the other way.
If they had to kick a field goal right now, it would be 45 yards for Matt Barr. Start that clock. First and 10 at the 49er 27 for the Giants. Hostetler takes a good look. Lot up showing blitz. The handoff is to Anderson. And O.J. to the 25. Stopped by Romanowski. He scrambled for 2 yards. The clock continues to run.
You know what I would do if I were the Giants? I'd take a shot at a pass. The 49er defense is just all up there on the line of scrimmage, Pat. And it just looks like if you're going to, you always have a shot that you can take the thing. But look at this 49er defense. They got all 11 guys right up here, and you could really sneak something deep here, I think. I mean, go a play pass and try and sneak someone deep. Take a shot at the touchdown. If you don't get it, you can always come back at the field goal, because the 49ers are just all up there to stop the run.
This is a Giant timeout. They have one left with 12 seconds left to play. The NFC Championship game with the emphasis on championship.
Well, there's the guy who got the fumble that started this drive, but the guy who caused the fumble was Eric Howard, the old nose tackle. You know, those old nose tackles don't get a heck of a lot of talk about, but Eric Howard, if the Giants go on and win here, Eric Howard made the biggest play of his life on that fumble.
And you're right, the Giants are going to run another play. And it's a quarterback sneak by Hostetler to try to get Barr just a little bit closer. A yard more, and now with 4 seconds left, the Giants call their last timeout. And it all goes on his shoulders. He hurt his neck last week making a tackle against the Bears, and there was doubt early in the week whether or not he'd be the kicker or not.
They don't even want to look.
It could be an eternity for Matt Barr if he should miss, and he'd never know he got on the airplane if he makes it. Timeout 49ers. Let him think about it a little bit.
Also lets the coach think about it. Lets the rest of the players. But you notice, Pat, how they always leave the kicker alone? The Giant offense is up there all by themselves on the line of scrimmage, and Matt Barr is about 5 yards back. No one ever gets. These guys are off on the sidelines. The team that is going to block for Barr is on the line of scrimmage, and Matt Barr is off by himself.
That is a lonely world, believe me.
In fact, he's inched up a little closer to him. He was about 10 yards away from him, and now he's kind of inched up where he wants some friends. But Matt Barr is a veteran. You know, I mean, he's a guy, he wrote on a book for me one time. He signed a guest book, and he wrote journeyman kicker, 13-year veteran, so he's been in a lot of these situations.
He also wrote one time, I'm not just a kicker, I'm a player. And the kick is good. There will be no three-peat. The Giants win it 15-13.
Congratulations.
5 field goals by Matt Barr. They still couldn't conquer the red zone, but they beat the 49ers.
You know, and the hero, or one of the heroes, of course, we know is Matt Barr.
These yellow bands are for the troops over there.
And there's his reaction.
If he can force a reaction.
Well, remember last week he got injured. They didn't even know if he'd be eligible to play this week or be able to play this week. Here's the coach. Here's one happy, deserving coach. Here's a bunch who had an answer. And it all started with an old nose tackle, number 74, who forced a fumble.
So many, many big plays. Once again, the final score here in San Francisco. The Giants win it 15-13. You're watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League. Stay tuned for the NFL Today postgame show with the George Halas Trophy presentation.
Diet Coke presents Crack the Code for Real Refreshment.
January, we got a call from the distraught storeroom.
And as we all look down on Candlestick Park, the Giants' prayers were answered, and they upset the 49ers 15-13. And hi, everybody, what a football game. Pat O'Brien along with Terry Bradshaw, and now the New York Giants play another New York team, the Buffalo Bills. And who do you like in that matchup?
Yeah, right. That's me right off the bat. I was impressed extremely well with Hostetler and his career. And Pat and Barr coming back with 5 field goals today and winning on the road. Giants defense. But I'm watching that Buffalo team today, and I've never seen an offensive machine, and they're hot. Kelly's hot. Great receivers. Outstanding defense, and right now, if you just asked me, and you just did, I would have to say Buffalo.
All right, Terry, thank you. Let's remind everybody about our lineup here on CBS tonight. It begins with 60 Minutes, and then later tonight, Lonesome Dove returns to CBS. Robert Duvall, Tommy Lee Jones, Danny Glover, and Angelica Houston lead an all-star cast. Right now, we have a special report from CBS News, and let's go directly to Dan Rather in New York City. Dan?
Thanks, Pat.
All right, thank you, Dan. CBS Newsman Dan Rather reporting live from New York City. Our score here, the Giants 15, San Francisco 13. Coming up, the presentation of the George S. Halas Trophy. Greg Gumbel will have that from the winner's locker room. We come back from Candlestick Park right after this. Stay with us.
Lawrence Taylor of the Giants is just one of a happy band of New York Giants, understandably, back here at Candlestick Park, where the Giants have beaten the San Francisco 49ers by a score of 15-13, and by virtue of that win, they win a trip to Tampa next Sunday against the Buffalo Bills in Super Bowl 25. Welcome back to San Francisco, everyone. I'm Greg Gumbel. Let me introduce the people up here to you. Giants head coach Bill Parcells, and with the NFC Championship comes the George S. Halas Trophy. That will be awarded by Mr. Ed McCaskey, chairman of the board of the Chicago Bears, and by Mrs. McCaskey, the daughter of George Halas. Ed?
Congratulations, Bill, to you and all the Giants. It was a great job and a thrilling football game. Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations to the Maras and George Young and Coach Parcells and all the New York Giants. Wonderful day.
Coach, I know you'd like to take it, so please be our guest. Go right ahead.
Take it. Just on behalf of the New York Giants, I thank the McCaskies for this presentation, and we're just elated and I do want to also credit the 49ers because, you know, they've been on top for so long. They're the type of franchise that we all aspire to be, and I just have to give them a lot of credit for the way they played. It was a terrific football game, you know, and even this old man could really get excited about something like that. So on behalf of the Giants, I say thank you. Here we go, guys.
Bill, let me ask you, we exchanged words just a couple of moments ago, and you agreed this game was not awfully different from the one that you lost here 7-3 back in December.
No, it wasn't, Greg. I don't think there's really that much difference between the two teams. You know, we made some plays today. We kind of shortened the game a little bit. Our defense played very well. We just had a one-play lapse the whole game, and I think our offense, you know, did a good job running the ball, so I'm pleased.
I know that you talk about defense and you stress defense. I'm sure you're well aware that the Buffalo Bills put 51 points on the board today.
Well, they looked awesome to me, and we played them back there in early December, and they sure gave us a very difficult time in New York. They're a very talented team, but, you know, we just look forward to the opportunity.
Coach, again, congratulations to you and the New York Giants.
Well, thank you very much, Greg.
George Seifert is with Leslie Visser. Leslie?
Coach, you played so well for 3.5 quarters. What broke down at the end, and what could you have done differently?
Well, I think it's just a great effort as far as the New York Giants team is concerned. Their defense played very inspired at the closing minutes of the ball game, and as well their offense. And Hostetler came up with some great plays. He certainly showed championship caliber out there today.
You just addressed your team so eloquently. Could you summarize your feelings on losing the opportunity to three-peat?
Well, there's no question. This is a loss that will linger for a while. At the same time, we're very proud of the team and its accomplishments over this football season. I think all of us are extremely proud to be part of the organization. We've won a number of great games and had some tough battles and have been able to overcome some very tough situations. And we just got to compliment the New York Giants now and wish them well in the Super Bowl.
Great. Thank you for your time, Coach. Back to you, Greg.
All right, Leslie, if you're looking for a couple of heroes in Giant uniforms, look no further. On my left, Matt Barr, and on my right, Jeff Hostetler. Let me ask you first, Mr. Barr, about the kick and whether or not you had any doubts as you approached it.
It was a good kick, but I'll tell you what, this victory is for the guys. They worked so hard through training camp. They overcame so many obstacles. I'm just happy to be along for the ride.
I want to ask you about this field goal. Winds really weren't much of a factor down the field today, were they?
It was making them drift a little bit, but you can't ask for a nicer day in San Francisco. Usually it's really blowing hard.
Matt, congratulations to you. I want to talk over here with the gentleman that you called your hero. Congratulations to you. First of all, I want to ask you about the knee. How is it?
He's fine. I'd just like to say hi to my wife and my two boys and my mom, and just thank the good Lord for the opportunity. He's really blessed me.
Jeff, there have been numerous comparisons, of course, of the quarterbacks in this game, and you've shown that with a combination of good defense out there, past experience doesn't make that much difference in one football game.
Well, everybody's got their own opinion, and they keep on telling me I can't, and, you know, I'm going to the Super Bowl, so hopefully we're one step away from winning it all, and these guys have done a great job, and they deserve to be going, and I'm just happy to be part of it.
I know I've been hearing singing the praises of the New York Giant defense in here, and rightly so, because they keep you in a football game, don't they?
Oh, they've done a super job all year, and I tell you, to hold San Francisco to the number of points that they did, allow our offense to come down and kick field goals and put points on the board and win, it was a big plus for us.
Jeff Hostetler, congratulations to you.
Thanks.
Jeff Hostetler and the rest of the New York Giants on the way to Tampa for Super Bowl 25. 15-13, Giants a winner. We'll take a timeout and come right back in just a moment. By virtue of Matt Barr's field goal, as time ran down, the New York Giants have won the NFC Championship 15-13. They defeat the San Francisco 49ers. Welcome back to Candlestick Park, everyone. I'm Greg Gumbel, joined now by Lawrence Taylor, linebacker for the New York Giants. Emotional game, I thought, LT.
Yeah, it was a great game. It's not a lot different from the last game we played, and I'll tell you, it was a battle the whole way, I'm telling you.
We're going to show the fumble that you recovered. Tell us how you saw it.
Well, we just had try to pinch it in and try to constrict the hole. And I saw Craig, somebody hit him and the ball just squirted out the back of his arm. And just caught the ball and just laid there and said, hey, let's go take it home.
It's one of those gifts that come your way. Lawrence, this game, of course, was played under heavy security. A great deal of discussion about whether or not football games should even be played. Did that enter into your thinking at all as you came out onto the field or as you played today?
Well, you know, when you see all the security, it makes you realize that the war is real. It's not a joke, and even though it's fought all the way over there in Saudi Arabia and Iraq, you know, it's touching home right now. So, you know, it's a little scary, but of course the guys over there, you know, I'm proud of them. Bring us back a victory, and I just wish the people over here would stop all the protesting and support those guys. Those guys are fighting for us.
All right, Lawrence, congratulations again. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Lawrence Taylor of the New York Giants. That wraps it up from here. I'm Greg Gumbel for Terry Bradshaw, Leslie Visser, and Pat O'Brien. Let's send you back upstairs now to Pat and John. Guys?
All right, the final score, 15-13. The Giants head for Tampa. And, John, I think you probably put it best when you said this is what a championship game should be. It had everything you could possibly ask for.
Well, you know, you think of the calls and the thing, and you go back to fourth down. Here it is. The Giants had to do something. Bill Parcells makes this call. It's a great call. Go for the fake punt. Snap the ball to Gary Reasons. He gets that big first down for you that gives you life and gives Matt Barr a field goal that puts him within one. Now, here, to me, is a big play. You know, Lawrence Taylor said someone hit him. I want to show you the guy that hit him. This guy right here. Eric Howard is going to make one of the best plays I've ever seen in my life because he is going to come out of this. He's going to be double-teamed right there, break through, and knock the ball out of Roger Craig's hand. Watch it right there. Boom. Now, that is a heck of a play coming off a double team. The Giants got the ball back, made the drive that won the game for them.
And here's the winning field goal by Matt Barr. Middle of the week, a lot of people, I think including Matt Barr, thought he wouldn't even be playing today or wouldn't be kicking today. That's the record. When the Giants and Bills play, the Bills overwhelming today in their victory over the Los Angeles Raiders. What about that game? What's coming up here?
Well, you know, I think it's going to be very obvious for everyone to say, well, geez, you know, the Bills, they can move the ball, they can score a lot of points, but, you know, the Giants have a tendency to make you look like you're conservative. You know, it's like Bill Belichick was saying. He's a defensive coordinator for the Giants, and he was saying the other night, he said, you play hard, you go out, and then he said, the score is 7-3. You hold the 49ers to 7 points, and someone said, oh, the 49ers were conservative. He said conservative baloney. He said they weren't running dives. So I think what's going to happen, I think that Buffalo will probably be a big favorite, but when you have a defense playing the way the Giants do, they're going to give anyone they ever play a battle.
All right, John, thank you very much for the opportunity to spend 10 years next to you. For John Madden, then, this is Pat Summerall saying so long for us and for all of the CBS crew from Candlestick Park. The final score, the Giants 15, the 49ers 13. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League. 60 Minutes next, followed by Murder, She Wrote. And that will be followed by Lonesome Dove, Part 1, tonight on CBS.
If you have to remember our story from Candlestick Park between the Giants and the 49ers, the last line we said, as they waved goodbye, they said, don't you cry. We'll be back again someday. The Giants were back. They had never met the Niners at this stage in the playoffs for the right to go to the Super Bowl. They were 2-2 in the 80s in playoffs, but the stakes were even higher today. The colors, Phil Simms on the sidelines watching. The Hawks would have to play the game of his life because he was playing the master, Joe Montana, and the Niners offense. Opening drive, Montana to Tom Rathman for 7 yards. Then after pick up a first down, Montana pumps, hits Brent Jones, the tight end, for 12 yards. 2nd and 6 from the 44, Montana to John Taylor on the slant. Is it a catch, a drop, or a fumble? Taylor working on Perry Williams. And it looks as if it falls out. They call for a review. A fumble, an incompletion. Jerry Markbright on the field try to solve it.
No replay was allowed on this play because the whistle down by contact.
Watt. Koper hits a field goal. It's 3-0 San Francisco. Giants on the opening drive. Haas with time. Scrambles right, hits Mark Ingram for 20 yards. 1st and 10 at the 37. Hostetler. Play action, which he ran very well. He played very confidently. Mark Bavaro, a big weapon today, 7 yards. 1st and 10 at the 11. Let him make it throw the ball. Maurice Carthen drops it. Millen did a good job on the coverage, but Mo missed it.
Yeah, he had focused on the ball here, but he just did not look it in. Looked like he had his hands a little bit too close together.
Giants do get a field goal from Matt Barr. They're tied at 3. You talk about defense, Mark Ingram, meet Ronnie Lott. Montana to pass. Look at Gary Reasons to Believe, dropping Rathman for a 4-yard loss. Giants driving late second. Haas to Bavaro, diving for the first down at 13 yards. 3rd and 9 from the 24. Haas to the end zone for Stephen Baker. But no, there's no way he was going to get in bounds. The throw was out of bounds, and so Matt Barr right down the pipe. 42 yards, 6-3 New York. The Niners defense keeping the Giants out of the end zone, but they're behind. Montana to Jerry Rice for 19 yards. 46 seconds to go, where, of course, Joe is at his most dangerous. He will scramble for 7. Timeout with 26 seconds to go. 3rd and 15. Montana to Roger Craig. With 8 seconds to go, they bring in Mike Koper. 35-yard field goal. 6 quarters played at this point today by the 4 playoff teams. Only one team had scored a touchdown. The Bills were tied at 6. Big battle, though, in the second half. The bloodied hands. Montana to John Taylor. Everson Walls went for the pick, but John Taylor's going to get the 6. Montana to Taylor, the only touchdown the last time the teams met on the Monday night in Candlestick. Would that duo burn him again?
Great play by John Taylor. Everson Walls going for the interception. Once he missed it, it was over.
So 1st and 10, the Giants down by a touchdown. This is when you figure the Haas would get rattled, but he finds Mark Ingram for 20 yards. Redo that jingle. Mark Ingram, but on 3rd down at the 29. Haas pressured, dumps it to Meggett. He's dumped at the 28. Settled for a field goal. Parcells was down 13-9. 4th quarter, the Niners on a 3rd and 8. Montana incomplete, and as he tried to evade LT, Joe limped off. He beat Steve Wallace at LT, and LT kind of kicked him in the knee. Meanwhile, Hostetler, Jim Burt, who took Montana out of a playoff game 4 years ago, takes Hostetler out now that he's a Niner. Is Burt this time his replacement, former Niner Matt Cavanaugh. Somehow got the pass off, but at this point the Giants' fortunes did not look good. The Niners still nursing the lead. 3rd and 10. Leonard Marshall hits Montana from behind and causes a fumble, but Mark Collins can't get up with it. Steve Wallace falls on it, but Joe is dazed. The Haas comes back for Cavanaugh, though. 2nd and 7. Hostetler. Yeah, if it's mid-season, he's got a bad knee. It's the title game, it's fine. He runs for 6 yards. 3rd and 1. Michael Carter stuffs O.J. Anderson. It's on 4th down. No, it's not a Lindetta putt. Gary Reasons to Believe. I think they did this in a Super Bowl against Denver. It was Rutledge, then it's Reasons now. It's a 28-yard gain for a 1st down. Setting up a 38-yard Matt Barr field goal. Good. 13-12 San Francisco. 5 minutes to go. Steve Young at the helm for the Niners now. Roger Craig has the ball popped by Eric Howard. LT snares it in midair, and it's Giants ball. 1st and 10 at the 42. Hostetler to Bavaro. Does he want this? He's a bull for 19 yards. Hostetler on 2nd and 14 at 12-yarder to Baker with 1:10 to go. 3rd and 1, O.J. Anderson plows for 3 yards. Seifert, Parcells. No, they're going to come down to a final tick of the clock and a final field goal shot. So 4 for 5, Matt Barr. 42, it's going to fade. No, it's not. It's good. At the gun, 5 field goals for Barr. The Giants beat the Niners 15-13. And Matt Barr, who time after time was denied a shot at the Super Bowl by the Broncos when he kicked for the Cleveland Browns, now kicks the Giants into the Super Bowl. The Giants win 15-13. the first time a championship game has been won without a touchdown scored by the winner since the Rams beat Tampa Bay 9-0 in 1979, as it was in Game 1. Defense, defense, and more defense.
Well, for anybody who likes defense, this game was an absolute dream. And I'd like to take you off the field for a second and talk about perseverance. We were in a similar situation in Cleveland. Dennis Smith had given up a touchdown late in the football game. You have to just hang in there, hang in there. Everson Walls and the Giants went through that same thing today, and the way they hung in, they make any defensive player proud.
And for the Giants to defend that offense that well, 2 games, need we say more about their defense?
I think that they certainly, you know, when you look at the Buffalo offense, they are going to be hard to stop. This may be the defense that can do it.
Well, they're the only ones that will have the opportunity because it'll be New York, New York in the Super Bowl. New York Giants, Buffalo Bills. When we come back, more from Candlestick, more as we look ahead to Super Bowl 25. Interesting to note that Matt Barr's 5 field goals ties the record in a playoff game. That was set by Chuck Nelson of the Vikings on the same field 3 years ago against the same opponent. 5 field goals for Nelson, 5 for Barr. Both spelled playoff defeat for San Francisco. Giants have upset the 49ers 15-13 in Candlestick Park. A large, large defensive effort really by both teams, but the Giants come out on top. The guy that knocked Joe Montana from the game and a guy that looked like his former self, Leonard Marshall, defensive end of New York, standing with our Mark Schwartz. Mark.
Thank you, Chris. Moments after this ball game, we're here at Candlestick Park with an emotional Leonard Marshall. And Leonard, congratulations, one whale of football.
I tell you, this was all about, training camps. Even though I missed it this year, the training camps, all the hard work, all the determination, all the effort that you put into the game, this is what it's all about, to have a shot to play for the World Championship. And right now, I can't even express how happy I am. How happy I am for our team, for our owner, for everybody. I'm happy, man.
Moments ago, I saw all your teammates jumping with joy, and you were kneeling in prayer, crying.
Not too many times in your career. I've been in this game for 8 years, and I've done just about all you can do as a defensive player. Go to the Pro Bowl, win Defensive Lineman of the Year, whatever else. But this is what it's all about. When you get to the championship level and you have a chance to play for the title, there's not too many times that's going to come in your career. I know guys that played 13, 14 years and never got a chance to win a title. I got 1 ring and I won another one.
How big was the sack of Joe Montana in the fourth quarter to knock Joe out?
Well, it was an effort football player on my part, and it was a big football game. You just have to rise to the occasion and play. Big-time players play well in big games, and, I want to be one of those guys that's counted for.
Good luck against Buffalo.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
There's Marshall on his way to Tampa Bay. That's it from San Francisco. Now, Chris, back to you.
All right, Mark, thank you very much. I want to correct something I said. Matt Barr, as a youngster a few years back in Super Bowl 14, did have a chance to kick for the Pittsburgh Steelers then. So he kicked. That was in the, the 79 season. Now, 11 years later, he has a chance to go back as a member of the New York Giants. So the state of New York now grows palm trees and moves to Tampa for the week. We'll be back on NFL Primetime in a moment. Giants headed to the Super Bowl. The Giants doing it within the last hour, defeating the 49ers. And obviously, head coach of the Giants, Bill Parcells, rather ecstatic.
Anytime you're able to accomplish what we did today on the road against an organization that I think all organizations in the National Football League aspire to emulate, you have to feel good. And I'm going to tell you guys, I feel great.
He should feel great. Now he plays the Bills, a team that beat them at the Meadowlands 17-13. That was the game that both Sims and Kelly were hurt back in December. Giants defense has their work cut out for them against Buffalo, Tommy.
Yeah, they do. I think it's a very interesting matchup. The Bills like to do so many things in the short zones with Lofton and Reed dragging across the middle. That responsibility will come on and fall on the shoulders of the linebackers. And the Giants obviously have an outstanding set. And by the way, LT will never make a bigger play than he made today.
No, I don't think so. And so the Giants, who have some Super Bowl rings, one of them back from 4 years ago, and the Buffalo Bills, who have not been there, will vie in the Silver Anniversary Super Bowl. We'll be back.